What's up, everybody? No opening clip. I didn't have time today. So, wow, welcome to this is basically me talking Better Call Saul because the final season is going to be coming out starting next week. The first two episodes of the final season are going to be dropping. So I'm really excited, and because I'm excited, I want to talk about the first five seasons, the story thus far, and just talk about it with other fans. So right now, believe it or not, let's welcome Cash. Cash is my partner in this crime. So what's up, Cash?
What's going on? Not too much, man.
Oh,
This should be good. Very
I
good.
yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. So yeah, Better Call Saul. How did you get into Better Call Saul? I'm assuming you watched Breaking Bad prior, didn't you?
I watched some of it, yeah, and I've just always been a big fan of Bob Odenkirk. And when I started watching Better Call Saul, and I like a lot of courtroom dramas where violence can happen and put yourself in these situations, and I was just hooked after the first episode.
Oh man, yeah, it was the same for me. Like I saw Breaking Bad when after the show ended, so it was all on Netflix, and I just felt, hey, maybe I'll give this show a shot. I have nothing to do. I was in between jobs at the time, and yeah, I was watching. I watched Lost, and I was happy with the series until the ending,
Mm-hmm.
until I read up on the
Well,
ending because I didn't quite understand what was going on, and I read like all the the backlash that happened. So I watched that, and then I saw Breaking Bad. Now Breaking Bad was a show that everybody talked about when it was on. I
mm-hmm.
remember like one of my friends, my friend Marty, who I've had on streams before. He told me he watched like the first couple seasons when it came out, and then when I worked in when I started my career working in Central Illinois, a few of my coworkers were like big fans of it. Like they watched it every week and stuff. And so once again, like I've heard quite a bit about it. People talked about it. It was all over, it was all over like websites like IGN and stuff. So it was hard to avoid. So I finally watched it for myself, and then after the third episode, I got into it. I got hooked to it because I just like between the humor and just like how messed up it can be. It was kind of like watching a Tarantino. If Tarantino was a television show, Breaking Bad would be a Tarantino television show. I'll be honest with Better, especially with the last season of Better Call Saul. I mean, you see a lot of feet, especially in season five.
Mm-hmm.
You see, yeah, you see frickin' Howard's feet. You see frickin' Lalo's feet. I think you even see Kim's feet. I'm like, oh, geez, all this feet, yay! So, and that's something you only see in like Tarantino films because he's a big foot guy. I mean, if you ever
Mm-hmm.
seen, what was that movie that he's like, he's just he's doing, what was that, Desperado? Or I forget what movie he was in where or no, From Dusk Till Dawn or something, where he
Mm.
was in the movie and he was doing something with
Mm-hmm.
toes and stuff. Yeah.
I don't think I've paid close enough attention, but I will look into that.
I didn't see the movie. I saw somebody made a clip of it and stuff. But yeah, we have my friend in real life's in the stream, Brian Anderson. He says, it's all good, man. It's all good, man. Two ads on this stream. That's got to be 0.00004 cents. Oh, I think that's a lot. I think that's more. I think that's more. I think that's more than you. I think it's less than that. I think that's how great it is. But yeah, we have another guest. What's up? What's up, Prophet of the Dragon? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? Sorry I'm late.
It's fine.
Hey,
I
man.
will. I will. I
Hey,
will. It's unlike the cartel. I'll let you live.
Uh,
congrats on you're gonna be rich. You can run your own cartel here soon. You're monetized, right?
Yeah, if yeah, like maybe I'll earn 30 whole cents a month,
Hell yeah,
and
man! What the?
and I'm gonna get in a big yellow sack.
You're living large, man. You gotta just get that join button and start the real grift, right? It's
Oh
on.
yeah, absolutely. What's a
Heck yeah.
grift? What's a grift? Oh
I
wait, isn't that the thing that they say that people call YouTubers who actually are a bunch of
work work hard. Yeah,
grifters?
yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently,
that's
I
what
don't
I
know.
thought. So
I don't know. Yeah. So sorry, a little bit late, but you know, family, soccer, food, all the like. So but at least I made it.
oh, soccer really?
Yeah.
Isn't that called football though?
Not here. I'm
In
not. I'm
Europe.
not. I'm not in Europe. I mean, so I'll stick with soccer.
Okay, okay. So I was asking Cash earlier, how did you get into Better Call Saul? I'm assuming you watched Breaking Bad prior.
Myself, yeah, oh yeah, I definitely watched all the Breaking Bad, loved it, and then just it was so good. How could you not go to basically the prequel to it, especially with somebody like Saul slash Jimmy? It was really intriguing. So
Yeah, I loved yeah. Did you watch Breaking Bad when it first came on and stuff when it was airing?
actually, it took me a little bit just because some family stuff. My one of my parents passed of cancer, so just the whole first season was sort of a little bit hard on me the first time I watched it because it came out just after I had lost her. So
I'm
the
sorry.
all oh no, it's all good. It's it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But it was a fresh wound at the time, so it was one of those I tried, and then it just was just too fresh, and then I revisited it later, sort of powered through that with that one little bit of the season where Walt's dealing with his stuff, and then from there it was smooth sailing. And I've been able to watch it several times now. It's one of those, first time's always the worst usually when coming with those types of things. I think.
Yeah, I was telling Cash earlier, how I got into Breaking Bad was I was unemployed, and I was watching a whole bunch of shows. Now this was 2014, so this was after Breaking Bad concluded, and
Right.
stuff. So I started watching it on Netflix because it's
Oh,
been on Netflix for a long
oh
time.
yeah.
Like
So
it's
you
been
got to
on Netflix
power
for
through, huh?
yeah. So
Nice.
I couldn't believe like the stuff that you had to wait on and stuff, like especially between seasons 3 and 4, or
Yeah,
seasons 5A and 5B. Like
I think I caught up. I forget what season, but I powered through like three or four of the seasons just like you did, and it's like once you caught up, it's like, oh man, now I gotta wait like all the rest of you guys. What the heck? Maybe this was
yeah.
a mistake.
Yeah, so for me, so I powered through it, and I was like, I watched the first episode. It was entertaining. Walt was in his underwear making the meth and stuff, and then he takes out those guys in his underwear in the trailer. And but what really got me wanting to keep watching it was just the wacky situation where they tried to they basically they I forget what the acid was that they used to dissolve people to get rid of bodies and stuff.
Yeah, no,
Well,
no,
Jesse pours it into the bathtub, and the whole
I remember.
it's like the whole upstairs bathroom like completely collapses, and you see like the mush of the body and everything, and that's how the episode ends. I'm like, oh crap, I got to keep watching this.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was extremely disgusting, but funny. You sort of actually sort of a little bit sort of like suspecting, is this really going to happen? And then there it went.
Yeah, there's a lot of comedy in Breaking Bad. It's like it's like typical. It's like your typical. And I said this to Cash earlier. This is like typical Tarantino type of humor. This is like dark humor that you can get into and you can buy it because it's within. Unlike your Whedon speak and all the stuff that you see in Marvel movies and modern stuff now, it's just the
Well,
humor fits within its framework,
I think
within its
it's
story.
that, and I think it's just smart comedy. I mean, it's not just quibs and they work at the punchlines, or it's like the comedy is built on like from something else in the show, like whether it's Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. They've something's been going on, and then there's a one liner, or there's something mentioned, or like it's not just little quips being like, oh hey, try to get a quick laugh. They work at it real hard, at least in what I feel.
Yeah, I felt the characters that they created, like I mean, I'll be honest, I laughed nonstop at when Saul first appeared, and just like all of his dialogue was just like perfection. Like I think what really won me over with him, I'm a big Star Trek fan. I'm sure you guys don't know this, but I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Really.
Yeah, and they're
Never
trying.
guess.
Yeah, and there's a scene. There's a scene where they're trying to get there. There's a moment where they're trying to figure out how to get rid of the trailer that they're in, and they're like, "Hey, you don't have a backup plan, dude? Hey, even the Starship Enterprise had a self-destruct. I laughed when I heard that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I mean, that's why I think Saul made the one of the natural sort of
Yeah, and
character.
he was just every time he was on screen, it was a delight. And
Yeah,
then of course, I mean, obviously I liked Walt and Jesse, but I really liked the two main characters of Better Call Saul. I really liked Saul, and I really liked Mike. I
yeah.
mean, Mike. I
Yeah,
see Mike. First thing I thought was, hey, that's him from
yeah. It's
Beverly Hills Cop. That's
it's
Jonathan Banks. I was like, is
Yes.
he? Is he? And the first thing I asked myself when he first shows up, when what's her name, John Delancey's daughter. John Delancey was on Breaking Bad too. His daughter, played by his daughter Jessica Jones. Remember, she dies at the end of season 2. Well, they
mhm.
needed a cleaner to come clean it up, and Bob Odenkirk was not available because it was originally supposed to be him that would go and clean it up. But they created a new character, Mike Ehrmantraut, who was who became the cleaner. And he's going in, he's giving Jesse instructions. I'm like, please smack him. Please, I have to see him smack him once. And he smacked him. I'm like, this is it. I love this show. The fact that we got to see Jonathan Banks smack someone again was great. And then he got to shoot people too, just like in
Well,
Beverly Hills Cop.
He
yeah.
plays a villain very well. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and,
yeah.
and I think that's the best. I mean, just like you wonder about these guys, they were great in Breaking Bad, and then just you get Saul from the start. You're like, I remember thinking it's like this is gonna all be about Saul, and then you see Mike show up, and then they build, and then hell, you throw some Fring in there, it's like all these guys you're wondering about in Breaking Bad. It's like they just go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and just evolve them to an even. They were great in Breaking Bad. They just make them even better. It's just it's actually like pretty ingenious, honestly. I mean, you get a whole new levels of Fring and uh feud with Hector and the Salamancas, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
they
So well.
build on all the stuff that they laid the groundwork, and then they went backwards, and then it's sort of weird because it's a prequel. It's like right, so it's just great. It's just great TV.
Yeah, there was
Yes, it
I'm
is.
taking Cash, I'm sorry, let you go ahead.
If you want to, it's okay.
Go ahead. Yes.
I hadn't watched as much Breaking Bad as you guys. I know some people were saying it's the greatest show of the forever, ever. I don't know if
It's
I believe that. I've watched some of Breaking Bad, but I just Better Call Saul is just great. There's so many situations that you can even put yourself in. You're like, yeah, if family is being threatened, then what would you do to fix the problem? Like you wouldn't let your family being threatened even by people that you're working for. So it's just there's
Well,
just so many situations, and even Jimmy when he gets himself in trouble and he gets beat up. There's that one episode I'm trying to remember. He gets revenge. He and I love that about him. He's like, oh, you think it's over?
yeah, the
It's
phone,
never over.
the phone,
Yeah.
the phone. When the
Mm-hmm.
kids jump him for the phones, and then
Yep.
he gets his crew
Mm-hmm. Yes.
to. Well, yeah,
Scares the crap out of
it's
those.
also smartly done, and then just like because
Yes.
I busted through the. I mean, I almost made it through all 5 seasons here, just so I was fresh in my mind for the
Mm-hmm.
upcoming season, but. Just
Yep.
Chuck and Jimmy's relationship through the first
Yes.
3 seasons is just it's like they both love each other, hate each other, and are jealous of each
Right.
other all at the same time. It's
Yes.
just like
yeah.
it's crazy
Yes.
how good they weave that whole thing. And then you're left when the big thing happens. Jimmy gets that letter, and you're like, well, did was Chuck just trying to take a jab at
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, and he really did care about him, or did he not? It's like you're left wondering there's always another question, but they reward you
Yep.
with the answers.
I'm
It's the same thing
curious.
with Howard. You know, you're just like, oh, do I like this guy or is he
Yeah,
just a giant douchebag? Like,
yeah.
I love that about how flawed these characters are.
Howard makes such a Howard. I think I feel the worst for it in the whole. Beside, because not even it bounced between Kim and Howard. Kim puts herself in these situations, so
Yes.
I don't really feel she's had many opportunities to get herself out of, and because of obviously her
She's just
past,
not right.
she's looking
She's
for
not
trouble
sure.
sometimes. Right?
Yeah, she's looking for trouble. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it
She
makes
wants
her
the
feel
bad
good.
boy.
It gives her that that adrenaline rush, and it makes her feel good. And Howard just duped by Chuck, does the stand up thing for his partner and his I guess his bread and butter. Chuck doesn't want Jimmy in the firm, he takes it on the chin and plays bad guy, and then all of a sudden he gets betrayed. It's like Howard is. I feel the worst for Howard because he's just trying to do the right thing by his people.
He
And
is, but then you think about, well, isn't Howard somewhat of the reason why, we're getting later into the show, but why Chuck basically killed himself? It's like, did Howard have something to do with it? And so you can understand how Jimmy feels like, you're kind of I don't know if I can trust you. And then he also treats Howard like trash all the time. It's like, I don't know if you're being fair here, Jimmy. And you just keep asking these questions. Yeah.
And it's great you bring that up because that's the awesome part about another awesome part about the show. They don't treat the characters like they're watching the show.
No.
So we're getting information about Howard and Chuck. Jimmy's not there, or Saul, or whatever. He's not there privy to this information. So then all of a sudden, this event happens. Jimmy doesn't know what the hell has happened, and he has a different, reaction towards Howard or whoever because they don't know what really happened in that event because they weren't there, right? So they don't treat the characters as if they know the whole plot of the show. They only know the pieces that they're actually in, which is, I think, sort of a lost art form right now. All the characters seem to know everything in their programs these days.
Yeah, and it's show don't here. This is the very definition, the epitome of show don't tell. They don't tell us what they're doing. They show us, and they show us usually in montage form. And I like that over just saying stuff. Like they put in the work. The Peter Gould and the team put in the work to show what the story that they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
Like I can watch Mike basically like spend like 10 minutes looking for a tracker in his car, and that's way more entertaining than watching something on Disney Plus.
Right, just him going crazy and ripping that apart, his car apart. Sorry, Cash, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, it's okay.
It's like 10 minutes of him ripping apart a car, and you're just in there watching it, going, first you're like, what's going on, and then you're like, oh, okay, and then finally he gives up, and then he figures it out. It's like that whole thing. It's just nothing, but it's so good.
Yeah, you have to pay attention. You have to really pay attention to what's going on. And before I even go any further, what's up, Sci-Fi Nation? So you just watched it too. I did too. I was just watching the season 5 just now.
Yeah, I literally 3 days ago just got done binge watching all 5 seasons.
I got to 8 from 1. So I got to season 5 episode, the end of 8 from season 1. I almost made it.
Now get this. I really wasn't a big fan of Breaking Bad, but I saw Better Call Saul just sitting there. It's like calling my name, right? And especially the little 10-second clip they show on Netflix. You just see him sitting there in his county oranges, and it's like, man, I gotta watch this. So I did, and I'm glad I did. It's like that's a good show. It's a very underrated show. I recommend it.
It really is. And, Kim, her character, when I look at her, I'm like, yes, if you are thinking about making a strong female character, Kim is definitely it. She's flawed. She doesn't take people's garbage ever. She's strong. Like, I love Kim Wexler. Her character is awesome.
She's really good.
Her and Jimmy are basically
great characters. Yes, they're
her and Jimmy are basically on this are taking a very similar, like they're both out there trying to achieve success in law and stuff.
Well, I think
and they just happen to like each other too.
Yeah, I think they're sort of they feed off each other, good and bad, and I think that's part of what's going to make this upcoming season most intriguing is you see where Jimmy's headed, and Kim's sort of there for the ride, but not so much in Breaking Bad. So what happens to Kim? Is it going to be a big payoff?
Is she going to be killed? Is she just going to finally break up with Jimmy? Is that going to just be too much for her?
I think there could be a lot of things. She could stop being a lawyer. Maybe she becomes a stay-at-home wife, which is I don't know, but that's a possibility. She could get disbarred.
Well, I don't know.
She could vacuum salesman.
If she gets disbarred, it's because she sticks with Jimmy. Right, because he is a maverick, and he does things that really skirts almost underneath home plate when it comes to,
Yep.
Well,
defending his clients. So
yeah, well, it makes you wonder because I mean, she was almost. I almost got the impression at the end of, well, I guess middle of season 5, she gets sort of scared straight there with all the whole Mesa Verde stuff. She was about, an inch from being caught. So, it makes you wonder: is she gonna keep pushing the limits like Jimmy does, or is she gonna pull back? And
but why would she tell him to his face, either
Right.
this crap's gonna stop and you're gonna straighten out, or we're getting married?
married? Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And they got married only for the plausible deniability aspect of it, I believe. I think that's basically
That's
the only
why.
reason.
But I think there's obviously something there, especially after Saul is lost in the desert for a day, and she almost has a nervous breakdown and goes stands up to frickin' Lalo in jail.
Yes.
I mean that takes quite a bit of cojones.
Yes,
She knows this guy
Yeah.
is a freaking a cartel head, and she's in there staring him down. It's like I mean, come on,
She
you want a strong
did.
female.
She did,
Yep.
and the beauty of it is she had the nerve to ask him, so are you a friend of the cartel, after all that went down?
I know.
Really?
Yeah,
and
and
then-
it's taking it back to Breaking Bad now. The whole, are you a friend of the cartel? And then they bring up Lalo and stuff. That was basically his debut episode. The
and then-
episode Better Call Saul, basically.
Lalo shows up at Kim and Jimmy's place, and Kim's just like, well, if I'm gonna die here, I'm gonna fight. And I just love those scenes. And it's like, yeah, Lalo, what do you think? You think just because you're gonna intimidate Kim, you're not? It's just,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I just love that stuff. I
Yeah,
really
well, there's
do.
so many. I think there's so many examples of her just saying, just standing up and being like, "You're not going to intimidate me." I mean, you got
Exactly.
the standing up against the Mesa Verde guys. Another, goes right in there and says, "Fuck you, buddy. You're not listening to me."
Yep.
Why do you think you keep running into these problems? I tell you this, and you ignore me. So
Yeah, that was actually that was a great, because he did, and this was, season 5, he blames her. He's like, Kim, you dropped the ball. And then she comes back and she's like, no, you did not listen to us. Because remember, like, Jimmy basically brought that copyright infringement thing
yeah.
on them and stuff, and he decided to go deal with it himself instead of taking the advice of, Rich
Yes.
and Kim and stuff. It's crazy.
But
So
but
that,
you
she
see,
was completely in the right on that. So I was like, that's awesome.
she wasn't all right. But the beauty of it is he completely sidestepped their argument that they were in cahoots together by bringing something totally
Yes.
different that they were not even expecting.
Yes. Completely.
Yeah, because
just
Rich was
misdirect.
Rich was suspecting her of being in cahoots with Jimmy. He said maybe perhaps you should take a break from this.
Yep.
And then of course then she goes out, she yells at him she basically yells at him for that, and yeah, and then shortly after this whole thing, she ultimately leaves. So this whole Mesa Verde thing, which was a big bulk of the show, like Mesa Verde, I think was ever since season 2, I believe.
Season 2, yeah.
Yeah.
So
season
why did this Mesa Verde thing come to be? So Kim was basically, they blamed Kim for, so Jimmy is working for, so he brings the Sandpiper crossing thing to HHM, and they deny him the work because of Chuck. Chuck does basically, once again, like, going
Right.
back, this is so hard to go back to, but Howard plays villain and says, we can't let you work for the firm. And then of course we find out that and Chuck plays innocent, like the jerk
He
that
plays
is.
innocent, yeah, exactly, and he lets Howard look
Got
like
it.
the asshole. I'm sorry
That's
for
why I
using that
feel
word,
so-
but
I
it's
feel
like
so bad for Howard. Howard does that
Howard,
so much
yeah.
for Chuck. It's crazy.
Howard
Yes.
is like
Yes.
like playing the bad guy for Howard, because Howard doesn't have the balls to tell his own brother
No.
what he truly thinks, and then he goes around and tells Jimmy, "Oh no, I've always had respect for you." But at least we did get to hear Chuck say at one point, "No, I never thought you should be a lawyer."
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
he's
a
like, you're
million
not a
years.
real. Yeah,
You're
when
not
Jimmy.
a real lawyer. Yeah.
That was a great scene. That was like
is.
basically, that was great. Bob Odenkirk, both him and Michael McCain. That was an amazing scene. Like, I really felt emotion in that scene and stuff. I really felt for Jimmy. Like, Jimmy, like Bob Odenkirk really bought Jimmy
yeah.
being
Good
pissed
actor.
like that.
Such a good actor, man.
You could see the heartbreak on his face when Chuck was telling him
Yes.
that. Like, really? What?
Yeah.
What? You brought me
Yeah,
out here to change my life, and you tell me
Mhm.
this? What the?
his facial expressions through this whole show, just for you believe every second of all
Yes.
of them. Honestly, all of them. I mean, even like, well, since we're talking about Howard, it's amazing how he just turns it on. Like, there's several times in the show where he's upset, and then they go in and see a client, and he just, it's almost like he's been in front of the mirror. He turns on that smile and that charm, and then he goes to town, and then. You know what I mean? It's just the actors put in the work, man. You believe every
Oh,
second
yeah.
of everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The
I'm
writing
surprised.
is really strong in this show, and I love that.
Oh,
This is
Yeah,
great.
I think I'll be honest. I mean, you could disagree with me on this, but I think the writing in Better Call Saul is better, even though it doesn't have all the action thriller excitement that Breaking Bad has. But this show still has some of it, and when we do see it, it's very impactful.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the My Name is Earl version of Law and Order.
I have not seen My Name is Earl.
It's a good
That's Jason Lee, right? If I remember
Yes.
correctly, it was Jason Lee.
Yeah,
that was in
yeah.
that one.
Not so much like that it's a straight up comedy, right? But just the way that Saul, Jimmy, whatever you want to call him, I mean, he is literally trying to improve his life, and he's going about it the best way he knows how, just like Earl is in that show. But people keep trying to stomp on him, right? Even the ones that
Yeah.
are supposedly helping him.
Well,
So
yeah,
what do you expect out of the guy? He does things his way.
It's
And
sort
when
of
they
funny.
actually work out, they want to
Yeah.
look down on him.
Well, that's the big turn for him, is when he's trying to do it the way everybody's telling him he should be doing it. This is the right way. You got to do it this way. You got to do it this way. And then his
Yep.
friend, he goes and he has his blow up with what is it? He has his blow up with, I think it was David. Was it
Davis and Maine. It was with
Davis
the
and
it was the
Maine?
commercial.
And
It was the
that's what
commercial.
that-
He made a commercial, and
Right.
the mistake that he made was he didn't go through it with them.
Right.
So we don't know if they would have approved it or not. But what they ultimately did was, which really kind of made him want to leave after that,
Yeah.
was they basically just put together that same crappy commercial that they used before, where it was just a voiceover and some words across the screen. That was it.
Yeah, and
Instead
then
of the all the work and all the creativity and the the moxie that Jimmy put into it.
Right, and then from there, I think it's from there he goes and visits his friend, and they have you have the con artist montage, and then he ends up passing and he gets the ring, and now that every time he that decision comes up, he fiddles with that ring, and he does does it Slippin' Jimmy style, the way he likes to do it, the way he knows he can be successful. So
I think the friend died before that. The friend died at the end of season 1. This was
that
right
just-
after
yeah.
the whole Chuck thing. This is after the whole Chuck
is
thing where he
season
finds out Chuck. Yeah. So after the whole Chuck thing happens with him learning that Chuck is blocking him from being a lawyer,
yeah,
he goes back to Cicero, which is actually about good 10 miles from where I'm at and stuff. So I've been to Cicero. It's it's as corrupt as they say it is. In Chicago, one of the most corrupt Chicago suburbs you can think of. So, but yeah, he goes back to Cicero, and he meets up with Marco, his buddy, and of course, you get the ring, and of course, Marco
ring.
dies. I was like, oh no, he's not dead. I'm like, come on.
yeah.
So, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
The Davis and Maine meltdown was basically what got Howard pissed off at Kim, and then
And then Kim has to get sent to doc review in the corn. They
Yep.
call it the cornfields, and that's it's like a demotion and stuff. And it's after that she was just like, I have to get out of this. So even when she brought not Davis, Mesa Verde, they still kept her. They still kept her in the doc review, despite the fact that she brought them the client.
They didn't even put her on what do they call it, the partner track for that.
Yeah, so Howard was just, in my opinion, Howard was just completely unfair. And
Yes.
before I go any further, let's say hello to Canadian Spider-Man. So what's up, Canadian Spider-Man?
What's up, man?
May as well say hello to everyone who was come by Pacific 414, dropping a like and sharing the stream. Oh, you're not staying to hear about Better Call Saul, the greatest show ever? I don't know if this is a bot.
It might be.
Usually
Some guy named
that's weird.
Sci-Fi Nation's here. Oh, hey, it's you. Sorry.
Oh, hey, look, it's me. Who'd have thunk?
Broba Fett, and of course, I already said hello to my friend in real life. So let's keep going. So
So real quick before we go, did any of you catch the little? I'm assuming it's an ad campaign, the American Greed thing that they did for Better Call Saul.
I did. I watched it. I watched some of it on Saturday
That was
when
so
I was on my
good.
way to see my friend.
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I
They
thought it was
they
very
brought
cute.
back the Kettlemans. They brought in
Kettlemans.
the assist the I'm gonna say Biatch, the assistant DA Biatch, the one that says Jimmy's a scumbag and stuff. They brought her back. Rich Schweikert's actor, the guy from Batteries Not Included.
Wait, hold on. So American Greed is also based in the same universe?
So
Yeah, it's basically a CNBC documentary talking about Jimmy.
Oh, I did not. I'm gonna have to check that.
well,
out.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. That's why I didn't look much into it. I just saw that they had this American. I think the show is American Greed is real, but they just did this parody for the show as like a cross.
Oh,
And I think
okay.
Yeah,
That's
they
what I
did.
was
Yeah,
wondering.
no, yeah,
It's
that's
on
what I thought.
YouTube. It's on YouTube. You can easily. I can. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I laughed because
Can
I
you
saw
show
on
it?
I laughed because I saw it on the AMC.
I hope so.
YouTube page.
Well, let's put it this way: with fair use, yes. As long as we play
Yes.
short snippets and then talk for a while, and then show a snippet and then talk, that's considered fair use.
I laughed because I watched it on the AMC YouTube channel, and like anything Better Call Saul related has like a bunch of views, and everything else is like under 1,000 because it's all a bunch of diversity and woke shit.
Oh boy.
Well,
Oh,
I
boy.
did my part. I did my part and shared this link out on Twitter.
So here it's called American Greed. James McGill, CNBC Prime and stuff. So
Oh wow!
It's really good.
Oh,
Go
that's
ahead and play
clever.
it for like a few seconds, and then we can talk for a minute, and then that's fair use. I mean, technically.
Yeah, we don't know.
remember this guy
genre-
from the courthouse. He's basically eats all the junk
Oh,
food.
that's the
Yeah.
that's the ADA or the district attorney. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
he's one. Yeah, he's one of them, and he's always the one. He's like, "Are you gonna eat that? Are you gonna eat that burger? Are you gonna eat those fries? Are you gonna eat those fries?" It's like that's the thing I remember him for. And Jimmy's always negotiating, like
Yeah, what was that one thing? Jimmy was always trying to get time served, and the guy said,
no, not. He's like, not happening. Come on,
Not
dude.
happening.
Come on. Not happening. Or
prior, second offense prior.
18 months jail.
18
Or
months
12
prior.
months jail. Or sorry,
12
got
months
priors.
prior. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about. I have to read up like all the different laws regarding prior, or like all the different states and their laws regarding priors. Not that I'm saying I'm a criminal. I'm not a criminal. But like in California, if you have a prior, you're going to jail.
Yeah, and then they got their 3 strikes, 3 felonies, you're done. That's your life. Have a nice rest of it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's like 3 separate felonies or 3 of the same type of felony. That I'm not sure on. So, I mean, I don't even know. I live in Michigan, so I couldn't tell you.
So I'm gonna click this. Actually, I don't even know if you guys can hear it. Can you guys even hear it?
No,
I don't think
didn't. You probably didn't click share sound, did you?
No, I didn't. Let's see.
So you're going to have to stop that and then redo it and then click share sound.
Right here. I see. All right, and here we go.
The best of them. He could hold it
There you
literally
go.
in the palm of his hand.
Oh, to be 19 again. Do you remember 19? Yeah, you do.
You remember when you were 19?
Yeah, that was like the very opening of season 1 when he's defending these 3 college kids that basically break into like a morgue and they frickin' cut off the head of a cadaver and then they have sex with the head or something. It was
Oh,
And he says, do you remember when you were 19? I'm gonna echo someone.
remember he's like remember yeah, he's trying to say remember like didn't you make dumb decisions
Yeah,
back
didn't you
then?
make the decision? You were a knucklehead.
Yeah, and they'll never do it again. Then the guy just there's a nice long scene or a shot of him basically he's basically the prosecutor just slowly brings the TV, puts the tape in methodically, and then shows the whole thing. And it's just like you didn't see that coming. You thought they were like got in trouble for like probably spray painting something. No, they cut off a head and they fucked it. Excuse my language. They effed with it. I'll say. So all right, let's.
You're right the first time.
He sets up shop in the back of a nail salon.
So
As a
good.
public defender, he fights for the little guy and wins. But helping people soon loses its cachet. Jimmy McGill sees new opportunities for making money. With that comes a bigger office and a whole new identity. Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. Commercials.
That's
all right,
that's
hold
him
on.
from Breaking Bad.
That Constitution behind him. All we saw was like in season 5 when he was leaving his office. We never actually saw this commercial in the 5 seasons.
Yeah, I think it was part of like the special. It was probably like additional supplementary material that they make to help promote Breaking Bad, and they do the same for Better Call Saul. So like they have animated stuff, like they have like one for instance Mike, what do you call it? Basically telling people how to safety regulations at Madrigal Electromotive and stuff. So yeah.
Dealing with a little echo, I think.
I think it's because I'm sharing the audio or something. I had a similar issue yesterday, so I don't know how this.
think
Do
so.
you have headphones on?
Yeah, I think it's because I'm sharing. Okay, maybe it's because I had my. Do you guys still hear the echo?
Yeah. Share the link in private chat. I'll share it. Just so we don't have echo.
Okay, I don't think you can hear the echo now.
No, you're good.
No, we're good now. Yeah.
No, you're good.
All right, I'll share.
If you want to put the link in private chat, I'll share it, and everyone can tell me when to start and stop and whatnot, just so we don't have the echo. I used to have that problem, Nerdtorial. I don't know your setup, so I can't talk you through it.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's output or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Do you remember what timestamp we were at on that?
I think it was
55.
Yeah.
55.
55 seconds.
I just
Yeah,
love how much this is skewed too. If you've watched when you've watched the show, some of the information is not completely accurate. It's really good.
We realize there's double audio Boba Fett, and welcome to the chat. Good to see you here. I'm gonna share the screen now. Share audio. Chrome tab, yes. And there it be. So here we go. And I'm gonna just because I can do this. There we go.
I don't know if you guys watched that one on CNBC a while back. It's probably been at least a few years. They showed up The Wolf of Wall Street. Really interesting.
No, I didn't know.
I have to see I still have to see Wall Street, The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh,
Money Never Sleeps. I've never.
Don't watch the newest one. That
just
with
the
Shia
original
LaBeouf?
Wall
the
Street.
end.
Yeah.
The end just will kill the character for you of Gordon Gekko. It really will. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wall Street. Just the original Wall Street. You
Yes.
don't need the sequel. Yeah.
No.
The original
Wolf of Wall
Street.
Street is good. So is Devil's Advocate. If you haven't
Yes.
seen that.
Money
I really
Never
like-
Sleeps was fine until the end of the film, and then you go, what the heck was the director thinking? And why
You know,
did
I-
they change Gekko? What
Did
are
you
we
guys
doing
like?
here?
Did you guys like The Big Short? I like The Big Short with
It's been a long time.
Who's
with
in
Christian,
that?
Christian Bale, Brad Pitt, Steve Carell.
Yeah, it's been a long
The
time.
Big
since I
Short. No, I don't even think I've heard of that. Now you got another movie I have to look.
That's
up.
a good-
That's
that's
what
a
I
good-
like about these conversations.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good movie. It's all about like the mortgage crisis, and like Christian Bale's character basically goes to a bank and bets against the mortgage market or something like that.
Oh, the 2008 housing crisis.
Yeah, 2008 housing crisis. Yeah,
Okay.
and just how sloppy people were when it came to giving out loans and stuff, giving out bad loans and stuff to people that couldn't pay them.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay, so I just need to know when you guys want me to hit play.
Yeah, you can hit it now
Ready.
if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
It says you do, and so do I. Commercials, billboards, and bus benches across New Mexico exclaim his trademark catchphrase.
Better Call Saul! Better Call Saul!
I love that. I
Call
love that.
Saul.
Very
Now,
well,
one thing
I
I
know
noticed about
Okay.
the show too is at the beginning of each episode, you would see like a flashback to something.
Yes, I was just gonna mention it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that aspect of both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. The one in Breaking Bad I thought was the most, the one I remember the most. Remember the one where we learn about the history of Gus and the cartel, and like how we learn, like, you know, we see the scenario of Gus and Max meeting Don Eladio, and then Don Eladio basically has Hector Salamanca execute Max and forces Gus to watch as his friend's blood is basically being emptied into the pool. So I got a question for you guys. Based on, like, you know, all the derogatory stuff that, like, you know, Hector and Lalo say about Gus, do you think that Gus and Max were lovers?
I think so. I think,
And hence
know.
why he is as hell bent on revenge as he is.
I don't know. I never really got the impression really,
I
that
think
Gus
low-key-
could be.
Oh, sorry, Ken.
Because they keep calling them like butt buddies and stuff in
don't know.
Spanish. I'm
don't
kind
know.
of I'm kind
It's
of
possible. It's possible
what
that I
Guys
just
say
didn't
about
see it.
sorry,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's what guys say about other guys that they're jealous of.
I mean,
True.
It's one of those things. It could go either way, and I'd be fine either way. I don't. It doesn't matter. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it really doesn't,
It doesn't. If you know, it's his best buddy growing up with,
Exactly,
and fine. If it's his lover, fine. I mean, I could see.
Yeah.
I could see. You know, it doesn't matter, right? So I mean, that's why it's done well. If it is great, if it's not great, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it
either
doesn't
way.
Well, it
have
makes you speculate. It makes you speculate.
Right,
They don't give you the answers and stuff.
Right. It's
They-
not
they
like it
give
has
you-
a. I'm interrupting again. I apologize. I just
No, it's
it
all right.
doesn't- It
It's all
doesn't
right.
have a direct bearing on the story or the show itself. So
No, but it makes the viewer, like, you know, like just the way they present stuff, and it makes the viewer interested and curious about it, you know. So, and
Yeah, I think
that's why I think that's one of the big strengths of the show.
Yeah, I think it's a good question that doesn't really have any bearing. It's one of those. It's worth. You know, it's one of those things that's left up to debate, and people can talk about it and speculate, and they'll probably never tell, and that's
No.
fine.
That's fine. Yeah, mystery's good. So if I never even thought about that, but it is interesting. Yeah.
Because especially and I didn't think about this when I saw Breaking Bad, but as I'm watching Better Call Saul and the things that Gus does to Hector and stuff, like, I mean, I can only imagine that it was because he loved Max that Gus is willing to go down this extremely dark place. I mean, I could not believe I laughed when I saw what ultimately happens to Hector. Reason why Hector is the way he is in Breaking Bad is because of Gus. Gus basically had him, under therapy with, the doctor from Johns Hopkins to basically help him recover his, senses. And the thing that he wanted to know is he still there? Is he a vegetable, or is he still there? And he sees the video where he sees Hector looking at the woman's ass.
Yeah.
The nurse's ass and stuff. Like, oh, he is there. And you know what? And then once he saw that, he cuts off.
Yeah.
He cuts off the treatment. He's like, we shall temper our expectations on this.
Yeah.
And I have given you enough grant money. Here is enough for you to build your clinic to the doctor.
He just wanted him to.
He wants him to suffer.
But he doesn't want him to be.
That's the best part of that scene is the doctor's like, oh, we could get him talking and maybe even walking. He's like, no, we're good. We're good.
That's like the most one of the most evil things you can do. And the writers of this show came up with that, and that's what makes Gus such a scary villain. Like, he will not he literally says to Mike in season 3, like, he says, I don't want you to kill Hector Salamanca because a bullet to the head is too humane for what he deserves.
Yep.
And I decide what he deserves.
Yeah,
Well, then-
he's mine. Yeah.
And of course, Gus obviously knows that Nacho had something to do with what happened to Hector, and then it's like you got to be really careful what you say around Gus, because even his place of business, even people who work for him, it's like you don't want to cross this man because he may put your whole head in the fryer. Who
Well,
knows? Like
That brings another character into this, Mike. We haven't discussed Mike yet.
Well, well, I just want to mention real quick. Just it's an interesting point Cash brings up because one of the last episodes, I think one of the last episodes I remember was Gus is sitting there waiting for a phone call because Lalo had given up their drops, and the assistant manager is just like, "Is the fryer good?" And he's like, "If you think it's good." And the guy's like, starts sweating. He's like, "All right, I'll clean it. And he just keeps him there all night cleaning that fryer till because he just doesn't want to leave it undone.
Right.
Well, the kid kept offering to redo it because either he wanted to really impress Gus, or he kind of had a feeling Gus could do some bad shit to him.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh yeah, I mean you're around Gus and stuff. The way he just acts and stuff, he's pretty creepy guy and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way he talks.
Yes, he'll smile at one person 1 second, look at another guy, and say, "Time to die."
Well,
like he puts on, and this is a big thing. This is a big theme of Better Call Saul. Is just this whole idea of people being pretentious, like especially Jimmy in season 4, where he's smiling at the literal picture of the season 4 poster is basically him looking. You know how like they have those memes of people who wear masks that have that smile, but they're actually like crying underneath and stuff. It's kind of the same thing. Like there's a whole lot of pretense in the show, and Gus is basically the same way. Like he puts on a happy face.
Yeah.
And then once he's off the phone, like let's say for instance with Juan Bolsa, the Johnny Sack of the Breaking Bad universe, he basically frowns right away. He smiles and then he just frowns, and they show it. They show it so many times in the show.
The best example of that is the fast food restaurant board meeting at Madrigal, and then they goes to the hotel room, and the guy's freaking out, and he's hugging him and smiles and all that, and finally he talks him down, and you just see him there sitting on the couch, straight faced and turned it.
But
on.
they act like almost adversaries in the boardroom, and then you see them in the hotel rooms that are right next to each other. And
he's like, I think he's like part of the board. Yeah, he's part of the board of Madrigal. So yeah, and they had that relationship. Obviously, the owner of Madrigal, or the CEO of Madrigal, was in Breaking Bad. He's basically you see him trying all the chicken sauces in the episode, and then I think he offs himself when the police, as they say in Germany, are about to arrest him because he's affiliated with Gus and Breaking Bad and stuff, and Gus is already gone and everything's been exposed and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, so he's still showing that same fear, and of course Lydia is in the room too. Mm-hmm. And Lydia's like, "Oh, like they're talking about Lalo, because Lalo is basically causing the chicken, like they burn the chicken.
Yeah,
they burn the
wild card.
Yeah, I mean he basically wants to get rid of Gus. I mean he believes that despite all of Gus's good behavior and his politeness, that Gus is out for revenge, and they're right. And and Lalo's right. Lalo's the smart villain. Like
Lalo's great.
He is. He is so smart. But he plays it like a complete wild card. Like he's not even thinking about anything.
Yeah, and he he just smiles. He never makes a face. He just looks. He'll look you down, and he smiles. That's all he does. Yeah. Tony Dalton is a hell of an actor. Like I think he's underrated. I think he should be in a lot more. I think he should be in a lot more stuff.
I do like him as an actor. Now that I watched Better Call Saul, another actor I wanted to mention, the guy that plays Hector, also played
Mark Margolis. He was in Scarface. He was the car bomb guy in Scarface that Tony shoots, and that's what causes him to have a falling out with the people that he's with, the bigger the mother organization.
He also played in an HBO series called Oz, which is a prison drama, and he played an
Very
Italian in that show as well. So for me to see him playing a Latino, for letterback of description, was like completely off for me, because I'm so used to seeing him playing Italian, but to see him playing a Latino or Mexican or Spanish descent, however you want to say it, was like almost mind blowing to me. That's the first time I've seen him not playing in Italian. I was like, wow, he's pulling this off.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I totally agree. And just like his acting, like all of his acting in Breaking Bad was just him, making, when it wasn't a prequel scene and stuff where he actually delivers dialogue. It's just him making faces, just facial acting and stuff, and just in motion. And I as far as I'm concerned, he pulls it off really well. Like the whole Bell thing makes me think of. I'm going to go back to a show that nobody knows I love. It's called Star Trek. It made me think of Captain Pike in the Menagerie with how he beeps and stuff. The only difference is he dings the bell when he says yes, and then he doesn't ding anything when he has no. So he's kind of like Captain Pike. He has his brain, he has his mind trapped, but it's trapped. Nobody can reach. He can't reach out, and nobody can reach in, as Dr. McCoy says.
One for yes, two for no. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought of that too, and I know part of the reason why I like Breaking Bad is because the writers were obviously Star Trek fans, because they've talked of, like, there was an episode where, like, was it Badger in Breaking Bad was trying to write his own episode, and I think Badger and I forgot, Skinny Pete were talking about it, and Jesse was just annoyed. He was just like, he was high and he was just annoyed that they were talking about Star Trek of all things. So yeah, I mean, yeah, some appreciation there.
So future reference: if you're a sci-fi nerd, don't get involved with meth deal.
With what?
It was a Star Trek / Breaking Bad reference. I didn't want to say the whole thing,
Oh, okay, that's fine.
That's why I cut myself up.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So what do you guys think of season 5 in particular? With so Jimmy gets his law license back, and
finally, it took 2.5 seasons.
Well, yeah, he loses his license in chicane, or his license gets suspended in chicanery, which is, I think, the middle episode of season 3. That's the one where they have the board where him and Chuck, are basically, on one side or the other at the New Mexico Bar Association, and Chuck's simply trying to get him disbarred and stuff. And of course, that's when Jimmy basically proves that Chuck's condition is actually psychological and not physical, like he thinks.
Very slick.
And did that pick off Chuck?
Yeah, so like that whole segment where Michael McKean just like completely goes crazy and starts basically saying everything that he was thinking this whole time was just like master story.
I actually got a question for you guys. What do you think it was? Was it Jimmy, or was it them making him retire from HHM that finally set him off on his downward spiral?
I think it was a combination. I think it was a combination of losing. He basically lost HHM, like basically Howard forced him out.
Well, and Howard was trying to get him to retire anyways.
Yeah. Yes,
right.
It was.
Well, it was the
he wanted to.
It was right after Howard shut him down, and then he completely lost it after that.
Yeah, the reason why that happened was because Jimmy had to go to the malpractice insurance place to learn like how much his premiums would be. And
McGill, I see you right here.
So yeah, they had to. So he had to they couldn't reimburse him because insurance. I guess malpractice insurance companies are crap and stuff.
They can't reimburse you even if you're suspended.
Exactly. So he gets super pissed off that his premiums are going to go up. I think they said 150% in the show.
Yep.
And let's just say they what do you call it? He basically just starts crying I don't know if the cries were legitimate and stuff. I'm guessing they weren't. But he basically he
brought
brings up
his brother's
Chuck.
names up. Yes, he brought Chuck's
And
name up.
he brings up the condition, and then he's like, "Please don't take notes. Please don't take notes."
Don't take it
So
out
basically
on him.
manipulating her to take
No,
notes.
I'm pretty sure he stopped crying as soon as he left the office and got angry. So I'm pretty sure it was all an act.
I thought it was when she pulled out the notepad and started writing. He's like, "Wait, what are you writing?" No, don't take that. I was just talking off the top of my head. I was just
I
thinking
thought that
out
was
loud.
all. See, I took that as all being premeditated. It was if I'm gonna have to pay high malpractice, so is Chuck.
Well, see,
Exactly.
that's the thing, though. That's why Saul is Saul. Because even though Chuck is his brother, he knows Chuck doesn't have his best interest in mind, even though he always says so.
Yeah,
Outwardly.
Chuck does not have his back. So it's like, you have to watch what people do and not what they say, because people tend to say what they don't do. And I mean, it's very true in media, and especially in entertainment now. So yeah, it's the same thing. So you got to be careful, and that's kind of that's where Jimmy is and stuff. So
And then when the whole thing came up where they were on opposite sides of the aisle of each other, and Saul said what he did, and Chuck had that breakdown, Saul knew what was going to happen, and then Chuck was on the record as saying it.
Yeah.
And he knew he had his brother by the balls.
Well, and I think one of the
as
most
soon as that
interesting.
happened. Even though he got suspended for a year, he still knew he had his brother by the balls.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the most interesting moments in the show, at least for me, just in terms of Jimmy and Chuck's relationship, is when they're at the karaoke bar. That part of that episode when all their defenses are actually down and they're sort of just being brothers.
When Jimmy got his when he passed the bar.
Yeah, just after he passed the bar, they were at the karaoke bar. He got Chuck up and they started singing together. And then
the winner takes it all.
Chuck takes him home and gets him undressed, and they lay down, just go to sleep.
Well, yeah,
singing together, being brothers. It's one of those that it's just another layer, right?
Yeah, that was the season 4 finale, I believe. Yeah, that was the season 4. That was the season 4 finale. So the reason why they showed that was because obviously he, in the previous episode, he did not pass the interview to be reinstated into the New Mexico bar, because they asked him, like, what does the law mean to you? Was there any particular influence? And throughout all of season 4, he denied talking about Chuck. He denied thinking about Chuck. He was pissed at Chuck, basically, and he didn't show really any remorse. After
sincerity, yes.
Yeah. So hence they denied him because of insincerity. So all of that episode was basically him and Kim scheming to get an appeal done. So he pretended to he's probably spent a whole day at his brother's grave and stuff, leaving roses, mock crying, getting some attention of some other attorneys, because I mean, let's just say it, Jimmy's brother in New Mexico, the New Mexico law community, really highly regarded. Like, everybody had nothing but respect for him. He's a freaking, like I said, he's a freaking rock star.
Yeah.
So and then they also do he I think he got some money or something, so he donated anonymously towards a library.
Well, who knows how much money Jimmy has? He gets money here and there. He's got it tucked away. Like,
here's the thing that I was asking myself this.
$5,000 from his brother's estate.
Yeah, and plus he's gotten like other money from. He got the $20,000 from getting what do you call it? He got $20,000 from. From Davis in Maine, and he got $20,000 for just finding the Sandpiper case, which they paid him for his time. So that was like. Wait,
I thought the Sandpiper was $1.6 million.
Well, he got $20,000 up front though. He got $20,000 up front, and he hasn't got the back end yet. So that's
so that's what they're doing with Howard right now. Is the reason why they decided the big motivator for them going after Howard, which is what they teased at the end of the last season, is because if they go after Howard and they ruin him to the point where he becomes like disbarred or something, they're going to have to settle. Oh, and so then Jimmy will get $2 million.
Yeah,
based on
the back end of Sandpiper is about $2 million for Jimmy.
I don't think I don't think Jimmy should have done that to Howard and stuff. He's taken things too far. But
Yeah, I was kind
he
of
does-
wondering.
Well,
I'm
it's the bowling balls, right?
I'm
The
with you.
bowling
Yeah.
balls on the.
Oh, the
I'm like,
bowling
is-
balls, and then what
I
was
think-
the other thing he did?
Well, 'cause
he
I
sent the hookers.
The hookers,
Like
yeah,
he's
the
having
hookers.
he's having lunch with Cliff. He's
Well,
having lunch
yes.
with Cliff
Yeah.
Maine, and the hookers come up to him. He's like, I don't know who you. He's like, I don't know
Yeah.
who you are.
I'm with you, Cass.
I love it
feel
in
like-
the courtroom or in the courthouse. He just defended them for prostitution, and he's like, "Can I? How much is an hour of your time worth?"
Yeah, exactly.
But I think
Yeah.
Howard's generally trying to at least I felt it was genuine, trying to make amends with Jimmy, and Jimmy's just going way.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think he's going way too far.
He feels he's like, oh well, I'll bring you back to the firm, that Chuck didn't want you at, and it's kind of like,
I
dude, I
think-
don't want your pity,
yeah.
but it's like Jimmy, you need to be. Howard, I think, is even trying to.
I think Howard was
He's
genuine.
trying to be. Yes,
Well, I think
do
Howard's
too.
trying. I think Howard's also trying to say, I'm not blameless in this. I played my
Yeah,
part, but it's
right.
time to move
I
on.
played my part. I
Yes.
played second fiddle to your brother. I'm trying to make amends to you, and Jimmy's like,
Yeah.
"Nah, bro, you had
Nah.
your chance."
You had your chance, and he's like, I'm going to take
Yep.
this as far as it needs to go. It's like, no, Jimmy, you're wrong in this respect.
No, I agree
is
with
not
Jimmy.
Good. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Jimmy,
but I agree with Jimmy. I totally
It's-
do what Jimmy did.
it's kind of it's a mess. If you put yourself in that situation, it's like, well, Howard didn't treat
I
Chuck
just-
well. Chuck didn't treat
I look at it
Jimmy
this
well. It's a mess.
I look at it this
Yeah.
way: it doesn't
Okay.
matter if you're playing second fiddle to somebody. If you still can't be true to yourself, especially in that situation when you're a senior partner, then
Well-
you deserve to get done to you what Jimmy
but
did
I
to you.
think, but
But
Howard's
Jimmy
already,
is taking it. Yeah, he's
Howard's
already done stuff to
faced
Howard.
Howard's
Right,
already faced
exactly.
a bunch of the repercussions of those
Mhm.
actions.
Yes.
Now Howard being on the other end of this, going, you know what? I've done Jimmy wrong. I'm gonna extend an olive branch. He's doing good
Mhm.
things. He's a
Yep.
Charlie Hustle. He knows the law
Yeah.
in a different way. He's brought up good points about
Yes.
your life's not over because of one mistake. Maybe it's time to bring him
Right.
back into the fold and see what effect. he
And
can
I
have on
agree.
this film.
I do believe that Howard is sincere, but I identify more with Jimmy because I've always been on the the shit end of the stick, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, but
So-
at that point, Jimmy can just say, "Nah, I'm good."
Yes, exactly.
He doesn't have
Well,
to start
I get
wrecking
that.
his
I
life.
get that. But if somebody keeps shoving it in my face like Howard's doing to Jimmy, yeah, you keep shoving it in my face, and I keep telling you, "Nah,
But-
bro, I'm good."
but is
And
he-
there's a certain point where I gotta say, "Hey."
But is he? Because
Yeah, I
because
don't know.
Howard gives the offer, then Jimmy hits him with the bowling balls.
Mhm.
Howard calls him to call him out for throwing bowling balls at his car, and then they have that other discussion. I don't think Howard's pursuing him at all. I think he laid it out there and is waiting on Jimmy. The only reason he calls him and says, "Hey, what's going on?" is because Jimmy's destroying his car and messing
Well,
with
yeah,
him.
he kind of knew Jimmy did it, but he didn't want to outright accuse him of it. He was just like,
But
"Hey,
that-
imagine
I'm
that!
just-
I just gave you a job offer, and my
I'm just-
Mercedes gets."
I'm just saying that's what
Mhm.
prompted the
Messed up.
phone call. The phone call was prompted by Jimmy destroying his car. He wasn't like going, "Hey, what about my offer? Hey, what about my offer?"
Well, how did he
Totally
know it was Jimmy to
reacted.
begin with, though?
Because
mean,
who
come
else
on.
did it? I mean, come on. I mean, come on. Throwing bowling. I mean, come on. It's totally a Jimmy. At this point, Howard knows Jimmy. I mean, he knows him from all his antics with Chuck and everything. He if anybody's an expert besides for Kim on Jimmy, it's Howard.
And
So,
it's the timing. It's obviously the timing because
Who-
right
yeah.
after he asked Jimmy, about this,
yeah.
and his car gets destroyed. So
Yeah, who else is going to throw bowling balls at a random house to
I get
destroy
that.
somebody's car? It's
I
Yeah.
get that, but I gotta play devil's advocate here. Okay.
I get you.
But do you remember at the end, right after Chuck burns his house down, and I was he is as much as Chuck is pretty despicable in how he treated Jimmy and stuff. I still felt bad for him because of his condition and stuff, because I can only imagine having a psychological problem like that where you just can't control the symptoms that you have and you're in constant pain and stuff.
Yes.
So
the
I mean
one
it's a
thing-
very deep emotional thing. He obviously, and the show brings it up, and it brings it up very well, especially in the chicanery episode when he breaks down in front of the New Mexico bar. just saying like how, like, you know, the reason why their parents, his father died young was because of what Jimmy did. He stole money from their because they owned a little convenience store, and he started stealing. Yeah, he started stealing money from the cash register. And
but remember why though? See, that's the thing. There's always
because the guy came in, all the hustlers kept ripping his dad off, and his dad was naive and stuff.
His dad was too much of a nice guy, and Jimmy got wise to it. And one thing I wanted to say about the Chuck thing, you know, accidentally, quote unquote, burning his house down. One thing about that is Howard blamed himself. But I think it was Jimmy's conversation with Chuck that led Chuck to do that. And when Howard confessed that he thought it was his fault, Jimmy never said, no, it was me. He just let Howard go in thinking it was him.
Yeah.
Like he literally says, like, you know, he's like, I would not wish this on. He literally says, I would not wish this on my worst enemy. The pain and the guilt.
Let me interject here, though, real quick, just because I have an interesting thought on that matter. Because I think for a while you're supposed to think that Jimmy does think it was Howard, because Jimmy is basically catatonic for like 2 or 3, like at least the whole episode, and then Howard brings up that it was the insurance premium going up that made him do what he did at HHM, and then all of a sudden, Chuck, you know, mistake happened, so. That leads Jimmy back to, it was what I did that drove Howard or to Chuck to do what he did. Okay, I'm okay now. It wasn't him. It was me.
So you think Jimmy honestly thought that it was
Howard's fault,
even though Jimmy knew he was setting his brother up for that kind of a mental breakdown?
Yes, I think Jimmy genuinely thought it was Howard because of how he reacted the whole episode until he found out it was what he did at the insurance office that finally led Howard to have to do what he did with Chuck at HHM, and then all of a sudden he hears, it was the insurance that made you do all the things you did, and then Chuck lost it. Okay, that was because of me. I'm good now.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't look at it that way.
I love how he says. I love how Jimmy literally tells Howard right here. He's like, well, I guess that's your cross to bear. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, and then he goes about and just starts making his meat. It's like, hey, everybody want some coffee?
Yeah, he's acting all cheerful. He's fine in the midst of all this tragedy and stuff. It's crazy.
That's why after him being blank faced he's just distraught, or he's just like sitting there, won't talk. Then that all comes out. And he's like, well, that's your cross to bear, Howard. You want something to drink?
When Jimmy was all cheerful, I thought that's why he knew it was him all along, because he's like, I got mine.
Well, yeah, but that was only after Howard told him it was because of the malpractice insurance fees going up that he forced him out.
Yeah, because what Chuck wanted to do is he wanted to go after the insurance,
right?
The insurance company, and they probably would have been. I think Chuck would have found a bunch of things because Chuck is. I mean, as much as Chuck's a jerk and stuff, he's actually really brilliant. He can find you have to really cross your eye, like they say earlier in the show. If you're going to have Chuck as your adversary, you better cross all your I's cross all your T's and dot all your I's.
Yeah,
because
up until then, Jimmy had no idea that was going on, and that was sort of his last jab at Chuck, because Chuck's making my insurance go up, I'm gonna make his insurance go up, and then he dies, and he has no idea that happened, and then Howard lets it out. That's why he's like, oh, great, it was me, good.
So one thing I've noticed to kind of move this forward a little bit, one thing I've noticed about this series is it's very dual. There's a bit of a duality. So there's the legal side, which is basically Jimmy, Chuck, Howard, Kim, them and stuff, and like the way the image I chose right here, you can't really see it, but it's basically shows one side, and then there's the illegal side, which is basically Mike, Gus, Nacho, Lalo, all the Salamancas and stuff, all on that side. So I'm curious, which aspect of the show are you more interested in, the legal side or the illegal side? I know we spent a lot of time talking about Jimmy's side of the story. What about Mike's side of the story?
That's hard to.
I
Man,
don't know,
that
man.
that's hard to
I
choose
really
because
liked it all.
it's so intertwined. It's hard to pick a side on that. You
Mhm.
know, it's
Because obviously you get more of the action thriller aspect of Breaking Bad on the Mike Ehrmantraut side of the show.
yeah, you
Especially
do.
especially once he meets the Salamancas, once he meets Gus again, and of course how they ultimately take out Lalo and stuff. Which I think ultimately I don't know how much more story there's left to tell with Mike. I've watched people talking about it, and a lot of people think there's not a whole lot left for Mike to do other than they take out Lalo, which I'm sure they're going to do this season. Or here's another idea: maybe Lalo dies during Breaking Bad. Do you guys think that? Hence why Jimmy thinks Lalo is still around when we first meet him in season 2 of Breaking Bad.
Oh, I haven't watched Breaking
I didn't
Bad.
get
so
that
don't
Yeah,
know.
I
So I
to
don't
be
know.
honest, I was gonna start watching Breaking Bad after I finished Saul.
Yeah, me
just
too.
because-
I
yeah,
was
just
too.
because it just seemed a
And
natural.
I wasn't even a
just-
fan.
It does. Yes.
That's the best part of this show is it feels like a natural springboard right into Breaking Bad, and that's what it was like. And that I think that'll make the first season this season. I think watching the first season of Breaking Bad and the last season of Better Call Saul will work together so well because it's supposed to breach that gap. So that's what I don't know. I didn't remember that I didn't know that Jimmy was afraid of Lalo still.
Oh yeah, like the moment, like when Walter and Jesse basically in the very first episode he appears in, they kidnap Saul and they take him to the desert and stuff, and they threaten him. And he's like, "Who sent you? Did Lalo send you? Did Ignacio send you?" So Ignacio, Nacho.
So Nacho's still alive too, huh? Huh.
So we don't. That's the thing, we don't know. And I'll be honest, of all the characters in the
I
show
hope
that I'm the
Nacho's
most
alive.
worried about, it's Nacho.
Yeah,
I
I
think
hope he's
I am.
alive.
I am worried
Well,
about Nacho.
Nacho is. Yeah. Go ahead.
He is basically like if you guys ever seen the movie Superfly from the early '70s about a drug user or about a criminal who wants to be out of the business altogether, and they just won't let him go and stuff.
Yeah.
Same idea. Of course, we all know what happens to Nacho. He tries to take out Salamanca, Hector,
Yeah.
and then that's when Gus basically kills his partner, and then he basically threatens Nacho and his father into complying with him and being an inside mole in the Salamancas.
Yeah.
So they're using him and Mike, who he's dealt with before, because Mike was the one that hires Mike to get rid of Tuco, because Tuco is Tuco. He's a wild card too, like Lalo,
Yeah.
except a different type of wild card. He'll just shoot you in the face when he feels like it, especially when he's on the rocks and stuff.
I don't know. One of them is gonna have to go. I think, and it sucks because they're both awesome actors and very entertaining. But I don't think both of them can coexist at this point. I think one of them is
Nacho and
Nacho and Lalo. I
Well,
think
Nacho wanted to actually get clean too, and
Yeah.
then he's in so deep, and after the whole thing with his father, and then of course what he did to Hector, it's like there's no turning back now. So
yeah, some people compare him to Jesse in Breaking Bad.
Well, I think. Well, I mean a little. I don't know so much. Jesse. I mean Jesse's. I guess you could draw the parallel. I just always liked it. It gave me Better Call Saul made me understand why Mike took Jesse under his wing much better just from Mike's past. I think Mike sort of sees Jesse as sort of maybe thinks of his son a little bit in Jesse, and is that's why he's willing to try and straighten Jesse out a little bit.
Well, yeah, Jesse with all of how tough he acts and stuff, there's lines that he won't cross, whereas Walt in Breaking Bad he will cross and stuff. Hence why Mike despises Walt in Breaking Bad, whereas he doesn't despise Jesse.
No.
So
Right.
and Jesse's the only one that speaks up for him, especially he's like, what happened to Mike? And I think I think he does figure it out, but
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I know people would disagree with this, but when I first watched Breaking Bad, I was really disappointed that they killed off Mike. I think it would have been.
Yes.
I think they should have kept him alive and stuff. Even though I kind of know why they chose to kill him off, because the good old biblical passage, he who lives by the sword or the gun dies by the sword or the gun. Same idea and stuff. And plus, he was a bad guy. I mean,
really
he wasn't.
Enjoyed Mike, but I think they had to get rid of Mike to get rid of Frank, because I think. Well, I guess at least that's.
Well, they got rid of Frank first. They got rid of.
Yeah.
He was shot. He was
Hey,
taken out of commission.
Spoilers!
Sorry. My bad.
Well, I mean,
Forgot who we're talking to.
Better Call Saul is also a sequel, so yeah. I mean, so the whole Gene Takovic sequence stuff happens is after Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So
We
know that Saul survives Breaking Bad, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
One thing I
So-
can say about Breaking Bad is I never would have thought that Bryan Cranston, the guy that played the dad in Malcolm in the Middle, could play the character that he did.
And a
in
whole
Breaking
bunch of
Bad.
and a whole bunch of voiceovers of Rubber Monsters and Power Rangers
Yes,
too.
he's done voiceover acting. He's done some. He's also
And-
said
and he
stuff
played
recently
Zordon.
that
He
we won't
played-
get into.
And he played Zordon. He played Zordon in the recent live action Power Rangers adaptation that they made a few years ago, and someone right after they announced that Bryan Cranston would be playing Zordon, somebody made a video of basically they put Bryan Cranston as Walter White saying that whole "I am the danger" speech to his wife and stuff. In the Zordon tube, and they play it with like other Power Rangers clips. It's probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Nice.
So you just see the head of Walter White saying, "I am the danger," and all the Power Rangers are quiet, silent. They're like completely dumbfounded. It's actually pretty brilliant. It's a pretty brilliant video.
It's crazy what Cranston has been, and you can even find some animes that he did voices for dubbing. I was like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. There's some movie that one of my friend and I were watching, and there was Bryan Cranston as one of the voices of somebody.
Oh yeah.
He's
crazy.
talented. He's
I
definitely
know.
talented.
Yeah, now he's
He was
a
funny
hot commodity. He's coming back. Him and Aaron Paul are coming back in this final season of Better Call Saul.
Okay, now see,
are
to
they?
me,
I
that
didn't
makes
know
it
that.
all the more reason to transition
Oh, wow.
into Breaking Bad, which,
I had no-
as I said earlier, was a show that I really was not interested in. But ever since binge watching Better Call Saul, and I
Yeah.
know that Saul is his attorney,
I had
that
no
will
idea.
actually make watching Breaking Bad interesting to me.
Yeah, I had no
Yeah.
idea they were coming back for the last season. That's awesome. That's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
I heard about it, and then I made a video. I made a quick video last night. So
Walter
yeah,
White
check out my
lives.
video.
I just wish they would give it more a chance. Give Better Call Saul more of a chance, because even if you look on IGN and some of these other sites, like there's not that many comments, but there is for other stuff of these reality shows, and I'm like, this is so much better entertainment. I wish we could tell people that. I mean, people like
You know
what
what
they
I've
like,
been-
but
Garbage tier.
I am
content
so
over there.
old. I am 46 years old. And I remember when Big Brother first came out. And I looked at that show in the first season and said, if I want reality, I'll walk out my front door.
Well, it's amazing.
Exactly.
I'm going back and watching Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, and I don't know if you guys have heard. I just watched almost all of. I don't know if you guys heard the show Banshee that was on Cinemax originally. That's a freaking
oh, wow,
fantastic
that
show.
was a few years ago.
Never heard of Banshee. I'm going to write that down.
Such a good show, man.
Wasn't
So good.
Banshee originally on NBC or something? I think.
No,
No, it wasn't?
no way, no way.
Oh,
It's
is this
Anthony
this
Starr.
is TVMA.
Anthony's-
Okay.
No, yeah, it's TVNA. Anthony Starr, from Boys, Homelander.
Now,
is in it.
I have a show for you guys. I mentioned it earlier tonight. It's called Oz. Just OZ.
Oz, I've seen the whole
Okay.
thing. It's so
Yeah,
The only
good.
thing
it was
I
on
know about
HBO.
it is it's the thing that happens to dudes that in jail
So
that rhymes
many-
with that
Oh,
it's
it
something
is
to do with
so
dropping soap.
So many
It's
good
so
actors.
much more than that.
So
So much
many
more than
great
that.
actors came out of that
Yes,
show.
the
So
actors
many.
that played in that got so many great parts. Like the dude that played Schillinger, the head of the Aryan
Yep.
Nation. He wound up playing in the Spider-Man movies as
J.
Peter.
Jonah Jameson. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
He's so
You
many
got
guys.
Christopher Maloney is in it. You got the Mayhem commercial guy is in it.
Yeah, there's so
you
many
got-
great actors.
Oh my,
Yep.
yeah, so many great.
It's a
The guy that played
fantastic-
Hector was in it.
You're
Mark Margot. Okay.
You're thinking of that Family Guy clip: scrub scrub here, scrub scrub there.
Yeah.
No, it was like what seven,
Uh,
6 seasons, 7. I can't remember how many seasons.
I don't know. All I know is they were all good.
Yes, absolutely they were. And that came out, and then like in its second season is when The Sopranos came out. So yeah, I mean it's top of the line.
I still remember the entrance, the theme music. Yeah, that's really, I may have to watch that again. That's a good
Ernie
idea.
Hudson. Remember Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters?
Yep,
He plays a warden in that show.
yep,
Really?
yep. It's a
Yeah.
great show. So many guys in it. So many guys. Yeah.
I just
Sorry.
remember him playing like I think he plays like in the Substitute. I think he plays a corrupt principal or corrupt. I think it was a corrupt principal. I think.
Well, Ernie
Yeah.
Hudson was in that show. Of course, things have changed now, I guess, with that cop show with Jessica Alba and that one on I think Bruckheimer produced
Dark
it.
Angel?
Can't remember. No,
Dark
it wasn't
Angel?
Dark Angel. It was
Oh.
it was a cop drama. These
Hmm.
two women detectives. It was
Oh,
it
it's
was
new,
on
right?
Spectrum. Yeah,
Cagney and Lacey.
Cagney and Lacey, right?
You said you got it.
They remade Cagney and Lacey.
Might as well
No,
have
no,
been.
stop!
No,
Don't give.
no.
Somebody might be listening. Don't give them.
Don't give them any ideas.
Just stop.
Stop. STAHP. Stop.
Stop.
Uh,
So, yeah. So I'm just curious what you guys think season six is gonna be like.
I can't wait. When is the
I-
drop date for it? Do you know?
Next
16.
first 2 episodes of season 6 drop next Monday.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I would assume we're gonna see Saul's business fully going. And,
The full Better Call Saul.
yeah.
So
I
you
would
see
assume-
the balloon of the Statue of Liberty. You
Yep.
see the he gets the Cadillac lawyer up. That was one thing I was curious about. Why did he keep that piece of crap car that he had all 5 seasons, despite the fact that he got some money. He got some money from
except for
doing the
when he-
cell phones and the.
Well, because everything he was thinking like a Wall Street investor, except he was investing it in himself and not the stock market.
Well, that's what made
Yeah.
him. That's what he made him dumping 27,000 on Chuck's reading room was so impactful. He won't even buy himself a car.
No, he was driving a
A Steam.
Suzuki or Toyota that I never even heard of.
The Suzuki Esteem.
And the Steam, I never even heard of that car, and I'm 46 years old.
I think it's kind of like a cover too. He doesn't want to make himself more of a target. That's just my guess.
The Steam is dead at this point, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it
It's
is
dead in the desert, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's dead.
yes,
It's
Tim.
gone. It's
Yes.
history.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. I don't know. That's the. I don't know. It could go anywhere. Mike obviously has to get into his
Yes.
routine as being the drop guy. So he's. I think taking out Lalo is going to be his. I'm hoping Mike takes out Lalo and gets Nacho out of Dodge with his dad. That's
Finally,
sort of where I'm
yes, I hope.
Do you think,
Mike will finally
I hope
do
so,
right
too.
by
I don't-
Nacho and take Lalo out of the picture.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm hoping Nacho survives, but I'm just not sure. But I like
hope he
that.
does
Yeah,
too.
There's so many characters in this show. You're like, oh, please don't die.
I'm
but
hoping
if
Mike.
you do,
You know, for a
gonna
bad
be an
guy,
impact.
Nacho's not such a bad guy. He's
Yeah.
trying to do right by his
No.
family, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey,
But-
I want out of all this BS."
Because that's my hope is Mike takes care of Lalo. That sort of secures his relationship with Fring, and his first order of business is basically saying, "You want me in? I'll be all the way in. Let Nacho and his dad go."
Maybe Fring himself will kill Lalo.
Maybe.
Ooh,
Because
that'd
I
be
mean,
awesome.
this is what I think. I think Fring, like we don't see Fring is capable. He's capable of CQC. Like he can kill people really easily. Like you see how he killed. He killed. Let's just say there's one kill he does in Breaking Bad that is so unforgettable. And then he kills Nacho's partner with the bag and stuff. Remember he takes the bag and he just like completely subdues him and suffocates him.
How did you feel about Gale showing up in Better Call Saul?
You think of the what did you think of? Did you think of him singing the Elements song or something?
Yeah, that was a nice little touch. I did like that part. That's anybody that's seen Breaking Bad would understand that a little bit better.
As much as I had no hard feelings against Gale, but I felt so bad that you feel so because Jesse was forced. Jesse had to cross a line that he wasn't prepared to cross.
Yeah,
he had to kill Gale to keep keep Mike and Victor from killing Walter. Because they're like, hey, we need your help for something, and Walt figured out that they were gonna kill him right away. Yeah. It's like, well, and I loved how, well, I don't want to go into spoilers, obviously, but yeah, that whole thing was crazy in Breaking Bad. So and that was the end of season 3.
Yeah,
and everything. I like how they blame. I'll just say this: they blame Walter for everything crumbling down. If you watch Breaking Bad closely, a lot of the stuff was beyond Walt's control. Like he did make decisions, but he made decisions in the interests of keeping the people he cared about alive, and that includes Jesse. Yeah, because Jesse got himself into a lot of trouble, and Walt had to kind of he had to make a decision, step in, and get him out of it. Yeah. So kind of like think of a villain, a more villainous version of Joe from Last of Us.
I'm really also hoping with this show that we actually get some more episodes of or talks of better or Talk Saul, because they did a few of those in earlier seasons, and I would love to see.
Yeah.
Those. Did you guys watch any of those?
Chris Hardwick, right? Because he does all the Talking Dead.
Yes. I would assume
well, you know what's funny? Instead of Talking Sauls, there's a certain channel called Nerdporio that's going to be doing Talking Sauls every week.
Oh, are you? Okay.
So,
yes, it's called the Nerdporio Lifeform. Who, by the way, congratulations, Nerdporio! You just got monetized.
Yeah, congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a Thursday. I'm going to be doing a celebratory stream on Thursday, and yeah, it's going to be an open mic, so anybody can come on that wants to come on, and it'll be like a member stream, except it'll be anybody whoever shows up.
All the members of the chat and everybody that's ever supported you. Man, you started not literally a year ago. I've been keeping track of you, right? I've been doing this since 2020, November 2020, and what you've done with your channel and the way you brought it along inspires me just to see what you've done.
Yeah, big props, man. I'm hoping I can get that. I need 200 more myself, so you'll
get there. You'll get
awesome. Yeah.
But with that, guys, I got called into work, so I hate to cut this off. I'm enjoying talking about this with you guys, but
no problem. Thank you so much for coming. Are you? If it's something I said, I can change, Dragon. I mean, I can.
No, absolutely. I trust me. I would much rather be here with you guys. Much rather. But
it's usually my fault. I'm the first one to get picked up.
I gotta get monetized, and I can just not go to work, right, and make that 30.
If only, man.
30 full cents.
YouTube takes a lot of the profit, though. So.
This is the way I look at it. If you're not monetized in your everyday life, then you don't stand a chance on getting monetized on YouTube, even if it is a hobby. So.
Yeah, well, who knows, right? Well,
no, just build your channel and not worry about money and make.
That's where
exactly.
That's what I'm doing right now. So it's one of those. It'd be nice if at some point I see some dividends. If not, it's more just about meeting people like yourselves and getting to talk about all these great things on TV and life, So
doing really just doing stuff like this, having conversations like this is more than rewarding, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And if people want to come and listen, they're more than welcome to.
All right, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I had fun. I met 2 other people I didn't even talk to before. Cash Money and The Prophet, you know. Thank you guys. It was a pleasure meeting both of you.
I have to tell you something about Cash. He doesn't take credit.
Only Nerdporial's credit.
Cash only, huh? Well,
Only Nerdporial's credit, because it's always bad.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So, all right. Well, Steve, take care. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, and if you need another voice for your post game shows, I'll be watching. So let me know.
Yeah, if you want to, I plan on doing them. Like, I know this next Monday it's going to be from 8 to 10 p.m. will be when the show drops on AMC Plus. So I'm going to probably do a 10:30 stream, probably an hour and a half and stuff till midnight. So if you want to come on and talk about it with me, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll be around for sure. Awesome. So just we'll talk turkey, man.
All right.
Nice
so yeah,
but to you, Steve.
Yeah, you too.
But yeah, Saturday. So yeah, Steve. Saturday, Lord of the Rings. We're going to continue 2 Towers.
I'll be here.
Are you guys both in the Discord of Nerdporial?
I am not, so I can. I just actually got loaded up into the White Cloaks stuff with all the Wheel of Time Reddit BS going on. So I didn't know I can get in there. I didn't know there was one, to be honest.
Actually, I am, and I have a question for you, Nerdporial. I won a Nintendo Direct code from you in one of your giveaways a few months ago. That I have not used, so I wanted your permission to use that code in a giveaway tomorrow on the very first morning show on my channel. It's your code now. It's like what would Saul say? Saul would say it's your code. You do whatever you want with it. It's your code. It's your call. You own it. Do you own the rights to it? Well, technically,
it's.
Are their channels?
I mean, I could be like that. I could be like that police guy that arrests Huel and be like, please don't use that code. Don't use that. Don't give that code to criminals. Don't give it to them.
Are both Cash and Sci-Fi Nation's channels going to be linked in the description? I'd like to sub to you guys. Just
mine is very easy. YouTube.com/Sci-Fi Nation.
All right, copy that.
Just look up the Phantom Hooligans.
Cash is in the description.
All right, perfect. I appreciate you guys.
All right, take care, man.
All right, talk to you soon, guys.
Yeah, you too,
all right, bud. Take care.
Have a good one.
All right, finally, he's gone. No, I'm kidding. I always say that when people leave. So, what were we talking about? We were talking about.
It's a threesome. Oh, we were talking about.
So I want to kind of I want to wrap this up. So let's talk about Saul as Gene. So this is all post Breaking Bad stuff. So Gene is.
I wouldn't know about it then.
So
Gene's
one thing I wanted to mention though before you talk about this, Nerdporial, do you think that this is going to stay as a prequel to Breaking Bad, or do you think this is actually going to pass Breaking Bad with this last season of Better Call Saul?
Well, technically, every opening of every season takes place after Breaking Bad.
If you look at the little clips before each episode, I was like, okay, where is this coming from? He's like working at a like in a mall
ice cream place
at an ice cream. Yeah, I'm like,
no, a Cinnabon. He works at a Cinnabon.
Cinnabon. Yeah. I thought it was, okay. My bad, guys.
I mean, I'll say this. He says this in Breaking Bad. He's like, Walter, the best. I'm no one's lawyer anymore. Best case scenario is I'm going to be a Cinnabon manager in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska. And this was just a throwaway joke at the end of the show. And we opened Better Call Saul, and he's actually a manager at a Cinnabon.
But as far as we know, this show is still pretty much a prequel to Breaking Bad.
Yeah, the show itself.
99% of it is. Yeah. There's
like I was just talking about like the opening minute and a half, and then they go into like the theme song. And you see the white Cadillac with the lawyer up, or you see the urinal with the Better Call Saul matches in it, or
I love the opening song to Better Call Saul. I love that little riff and stuff. And I played it in my video, my intro or my layman's guide to Better Call Saul. It's awesome. I can play it 10 times in a row and not get sick of it.
It's good.
So every opening and every episode's different. So yeah, like you said, we see the urinal, we see the cigarette, the lawyer up Cadillac. So there's 13 episodes in this final season. So I'm assuming there's going to be 3 new openings that we didn't see before because every season's been 10 episodes
What
up
was
to
the
this
one?
point.
What was the one where you saw this pink thing laying on the floor? It looked like the base of an old style telephone, but it had like this thing bouncing back and forth on it.
Yeah, I don't know what that
hell
is.
was
I think it's like a massager. I think Saul lays on it and it's like a massager. I think you
It
put your
looks
neck on it.
It looks like a coochie massager to me.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I'd have to rewatch Breaking Bad.
That's not a neck massager; it's a vibrator, honey.
I guess Saul needs a vibrator. I don't know.
Well, you never know. I mean, well, you do know, but still, what I would like to see with Better Call Saul is this not be the actual last season. Let's do some integration into more of Breaking Bad, because I've never seen
like
Breaking
a
Bad.
movie?
Yeah, like a
Movie or
movie, or they do like a couple of like half seasons where it integrates a bunch of Breaking Bad into it or something like that. That's what I'd like to see. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's something I'd like to see.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So they did do a single. I think it was season 4, episode 5 or episode 6, where they how they have opening scenes that could be like a prequel to something or something that happens much earlier.
Right, and then they go into the theme song, yeah.
Yeah, so there was one episode where they actually showed a scene of Jimmy basically cleaning out, shredding all of his documents from his office in Breaking Bad. Once again with the
Is that the one with the Constitution behind him?
Yeah, so that was his office in Breaking Bad. So
Okay,
he basically he
wondered
calls the disappearer, the vacuum cleaner guy, to disappear and stuff. We didn't see it in Breaking Bad, but we see it. They showed that particular segment in this show and stuff. And there's a few things that they bring up that we need to find out what they mean and stuff. So that's the one thing I love about the show is they don't tell you what they're doing. Like you have to. There's only hints in the dialogue as to what they're talking about, because they don't tell you everything. It's not like it's not other shows where they like to tell and not show. Here in this case, you have to kind of figure. Well, you can't really figure it out.
It's not like Star Trek where they explain everything to you at the end of the show. They keep you wondering, which is the beauty of.
Yeah, and done better than any J.J. Abrams mystery box, because unlike J.J. Abrams stuff, this actually pays off. Like they care about continuity, and they pay
at least
off.
JJ, at least with Star Trek, at least JJ said from the get-go, it's in an alternate timeline. Okay, he didn't pull any punches. He said straight up, it's an alternate timeline. He didn't pull the Kurtzman crap. That Kurtzman.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with JJ, there's there's things that he has done that I've actually enjoyed, Super 8 and this and that. Even though people say everything he's done, it's a rip-off of something else.
Heroes is pretty good.
Was he involved in Heroes? That's right, he was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Cloverfield, I thought was a good movie. He was involved.
I didn't.
He was executive producer of Person of Interest, but
Cloverfield Paradox.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be like part of the Cloverfield thing.
Yeah, I like and Matt Reeves was the one that made Cloverfield, or directed Cloverfield.
Good
at least.
movie. It's a good film, I thought.
So the same guy that directed and wrote and directed the Batman directed Cloverfield. So
I still like Lost a lot. It's just when it comes to Star Wars and even Abrams saying that there wasn't
Lost, Heroes, all that.
Yeah, there is stuff I like. It's just when you're taking on a big project like Star Wars, even Star Trek, and I didn't actually hate Abrams what he did with Star Trek, but there's some things in there like the lens flares. It's just not movies that I would say I would watch these over and over again, like I would watch Star Trek 4, Wrath of Khan, or Star Trek 6.
The only reason I accepted JJ Trek more than the new Trek is because at least he had the decency to say it's in a different timeline. He didn't double down on it like Kurtzman's doing.
Yeah, and I liked his young Kirk. He's arrogant.
I didn't like Chris Pine's Kirk as much as Shatner's Kirk.
No, not as much as Shatner.
He didn't come off as Kirk. He came off as like a combination of Indiana Jones and maybe Han Solo a little bit.
He came off as exactly the way he was portrayed. A Kirk that was fresh out of the academy, didn't have 12 years on other starships.
Right.
He was a Kirk that came straight out of the academy and promoted straight to captain without the experience under his belt. That's how Chris Pine portrayed that Kirk, and that's why it works for me.
Yeah, just the idea of him being promoted to captain straight out of the academy doesn't work in general for me.
No, it don't. It's implausible, but the way they did it does work, if you see what I'm saying.
So, yeah.
It's a mess.
I mean,
dude.
to me, I did like it when I first saw it and stuff, but after rewatching it, and it just got it just felt like overload. Like they're just trying to put every which way to make it like, you know, crazy and crazier and craziest
absolutely.
and stuff.
I agree. If
I'm
I
like,
put
I'm like, dude, tone it down. This is not Star Wars.
Exactly. If I put my analytical hat on, it's an absolute not. But if I just sit there and watch it just to watch it, I'm like, hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, the other thing, I'll give this much. Unlike New Trek, JJ Trek, they don't say the F word.
No,
they don't. show frickin', you know, it's trying to be Game of Thrones, and I just
it's like everything. What they
like
do is when they do an adaptation of a show, then they start throwing in these F words to make it edgy or something. It's stupid. It's like, that's not the character, dude. Even though this is a TVMA show, don't do that. Don't do that stuff. It's not good.
it's not the Star Trek franchise. You don't do that with Star Trek. That's what.
No, you don't.
That's not
but
what.
It's
stupid.
You got to remember.
It would
also,
work for the. It would work for the Expanse. It works for the Expanse.
Oh,
it
the Expanse. It works.
Other
perfectly.
science. It works for other science fiction. But you
it.
don't do that. You don't do that with Star Wars, and you don't do that with Star Trek. Stuff that is established. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Star Trek, despite some of the there's some darker stuff. Like Wrath of Khan was pretty dark with its body horror elements that were introduced, and of course there was, you know, episodes like Chain of Command where Picard gets tortured, and then even First Contact where you see a little bit of eye violence with the
Best of Both Worlds, where you see a drill going into Picard's eye. It's
that was intense.
Yeah. So, but they were still restrained, whereas now they show freaking eyes being ripped out, and the Icheb is screaming. I saw that, and I finished all of season 1 of Picard, and then I did not want to watch any more New Trek after watching.
Oh, Discovery went one further. Discovery went one further when it came to Icheb.
That was Picard.
Board.
That was Picard.
Was it Picard where they were drilling Icheb's eye out?
Yeah, that was terrible. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And then she kills him. She mercy kills him. He says mother, and then she mercy kills him. Like, I got completely disgusted from that scene. It just completely killed the investment that I had for watching Voyager. And I know people say Voyager is probably the weakest show, and it probably is compared to all 5 of them.
Out of classic Trek, it's the weakest one.
Because there were a lot of things that they could have done with Voyager that they didn't do, and that was because Rick Berman had a firm grasp on Voyager, and
he grabbed him by the biscuits. Yeah, he had that one firm.
Yeah, and Ronald D. Moore did not want to be on the show because of that. So he was on the show briefly and then he quit. So whereas Deep Space Nine had a lot more leeway to do whatever they wanted to do. So Ira Stephen Burr and all of them were able to come up with all these different types of stories they were able to do.
DS9 was technically the first Trek show that didn't have a Roddenberry hand in it. Even TNG had a Roddenberry hand in it until he passed away, halfway through the run of the show. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So DS9 was like an experiment without Gene, and when it came to Voyager, they're like, "Hey, no more Gene. Let's run wild."
Yeah. I like how we're on a Better Call Saul stream, and we got sidetracked talking about Star Trek.
I'm sorry.
It's same with me. It's on me. I kind of started this. So
but you got me on the stream, so I have to apologize.
So let's go back to Mr. Gene Takovic, who runs a Cinnabon in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska, and stuff.
Oh, is that his name? I never even caught the name.
Yeah, so basically, obviously, Jimmy his real name's Jimmy, and then he becomes Saul Goodman, the famous lawyer.
Better Call Saul.
Then after Breaking Bad and all the stuff that happens, he has to disappear, and he disappears and becomes this guy, Gene Takovic. So we only see black and white segments in the beginning of the first episode, the very first scenes of the very first episodes of every season. So there's like a 0.5 to 1% portion of the show is a sequel to Breaking Bad. So with this, so far with his story, he basically gets he basically gets a heart attack when he's working because he nearly gets he gets
He
he
goes to the
he has-
hospital.
yeah, and then they're asking him repeatedly for his social security number
And his ID,
and he's getting freaked out. This was season 4, and then he goes into the cab, and the cab driver is from Albuquerque, and the cab driver is just staring at him the whole time, just in a creepy way. So he's like, "Hey, just let me off here."
Let me out. And he drives for like another half mile. I'm like, "Hey, let me out!" And finally, he lets him out.
And that's how the season 4 went. And then the season 5, he walks to the car, he gets in. I think I forget. He goes away. He he drives for hours and stuff. He listens to the police. What's up?
If I remember, doesn't he at his house? He gets a message or something, and he's all freaked out about it. I'm trying to remember. I think when he was at his house, he gets a message, and he's all freaked out because, of course, he's trying to stay undercover. But
he's got freaked out the idea that the guy looked at him and stuff. So he thought that somebody was after him.
Out when the guy at the counter was looking at him.
Yeah.
He did, yes.
So it's like, and they say this in the trailer for the new season. It's like the wicked person fears. I forget how it goes. It's from the Bible. A wicked person, only person that fears nothing is the wicked man or something like that. So basically, people who are completely paranoid, who always have to look behind their shoulder and stuff, is wicked and stuff. And I guess that would be, in this case, Gene's. I'd have to rewatch the trailer and stuff, but
I know what you're saying, nerd for real, but yeah, I do remember that. I kind of remember that saying. I can't say it word for word, but it brings up an old Richard Pryor movie: "See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil." Something
I saw that movie.
It was a great comedy. If you like Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, I highly recommend it.
Jonathan Banks. I forgot about this. Jonathan Banks was in Stir Crazy.
Was he?
Yeah, I don't remember which. I'm guessing he plays a cop or maybe a corrections officer. I don't remember. I'd have to rewatch the movie, but yeah, he was in it.
Didn't it have John Candy in it too?
Stir Crazy. No, Stir Crazy had. Remember the guy that plays Dynamo from The Running Man, the big giant guy that drives the car and stuff.
Okay,
he plays the giant. He plays Grossberger, the big giant inmate that you put bad people in with him and stuff.
Yeah.
And he ends up making friends with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. They're playing.
He's like the '80s version of Tebow.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he was Jonathan Banks was in that movie, and the guy that plays the warden in Stir Crazy plays the old man in season 5 who Mesa Verde's trying to get. They're trying to get his. He's the one man.
Oh,
he's the one
guy
property
that won't sell his house. Yeah,
that guy is the warden. He was the country warden in Stir Crazy.
Okay, I thought I recognized him. I just couldn't place it. Okay,
yeah, that was him. Yeah, I love I still laugh at that scene where he meets Jimmy for the first time, and Jimmy's like, "Here's what I'm going to do to."
I'm tired of talking to lawyers.
Yeah, and he's like, he gives him he gives the old man a paper like, "This is what I'm going to do to Mesa Verde and stuff." He's like, "Dude, that's a guy effing a horse." Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do to Mesa Verde. That's what I'm going to do to Mesa Verde." So
that's what I'm going to do to him.
But I just had to bring that up because I didn't realize it, but that was him. He was in Stir Crazy. So.
And that goes back to another point we were talking about earlier, where he brings up the whole copyright issue when, oh dang it, what his girlfriend's name? I forget her name. Lisa?
Kim Wexler.
Kim Wexler, yeah. And she was expecting Jimmy to totally lay down, and he didn't. He's like, "Guess what? Copyright, bitches."
Yeah, because of the Mesa Verde logo. He's like, yeah, you're gonna have to cover all your logos, and we're gonna be in court for years and stuff.
Yeah, you know what I thought when I saw that their logo was like, holy crap, they ripped off Marlboro.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved that. He's like, yeah, okay. You said 45,000? No, we want 4 million. 4 million? What are you talking? And I like how Kim's like, because Kim had no idea that he was going to do this once again for plausible deniability's sake. So, and then after that whole thing,
because they were
get
still
married.
accusing her of being in cahoots with Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he pulls this, and he's like, even when they're arguing at the end of the episode, he's like, so did it work? Do they think we're not in cahoots no more?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't give a shit about the legal shit. He was worried about his relationship with her.
Yeah, so this is one of the last show, and I mean, maybe there's other good. I'm sure there's other good shows out there, but this is one of the last shows where there's really like smart characters and like, because like a lot of the times now with the way things are being written, especially major franchises and stuff, they write the characters to be stupid just so that the plot can go forward and stuff. And let's just say, I mean, too many of us are seeing this, and it's just hence why the excitement I'm feeling right now for the final season of Better Call Saul is something I haven't felt for a while. I mean, especially when things like Game of Thrones completely fell apart, and 2019 was just a terrible year. Like a lot of things ended in 2019, and they ended horribly. Like The Rise of Skywalker, in my opinion, is probably the worst of the is worst of the Disney trilogy, in my opinion. And then you had freaking Game of Thrones, how awful that ended.
Which I have not watched yet, and I don't plan on it.
Do not watch Game of Thrones. Like, it ruins the whole show. There's no payoff at the end because you build up the thing. The thing is, when you watch those early seasons, they are so good. And
I saw the early
you build up
trailers,
investment.
Like, wow, that looks great. And
you build up investment.
Yeah.
And they lead you to a direction where you think they're going to go, and then they completely, and I'm going to say it, they completely subvert your expectations. So, but unlike,
I don't usually take advice from other people about shows, but Nerdtorial, I have to say, as far as like reviews go, I trust yours more than most people's. And I'll say this because you're true, you're honest, you're just like me when I do a review. You don't hold anything back, okay? If you like something, you like it. You say why you like it, but you still say this is why it was bad. And that's why I trust your advice on what to watch and what not to watch.
The thing is, like, this is what I've been telling people, sci-fi. I'm like if you want to make a fan fiction, you want to make characters. If you want to make characters, you want all this so-called representation, whatever you want to make sure these characters are flawed, make sure they matter to the story, make sure there's tragedies. This is what a lot of us grew up with. And so we've lost this in a lot of Hollywood. Not
because Hollywood seems to have forgotten that humans are flawed. They want to make everybody out like they're perfect. Well, that's not how life works.
No. I agree. It's exactly. And you can't get invested in people who are perfect. They're not relatable.
They're also afraid now to show blood and so on, even in like it took even I didn't notice this until like recently. Like you watch the last Spider-Man movie, you actually see Peter Parker with blood on his face, where just like we saw blood with Tobey Maguire. So why are we going off away from that? Seeing it, what is it wrong to see blood on a woman's face
Maguire.
or whatever?
It's wrong to it's wrong to see blood. It's wrong to see people smoking
weird,
cigarettes.
Yeah.
As much as I've never smoked and I probably never will and stuff. I mean, just not showing people smoking, like really. Like,
really? People smoke, people drink, people smoke weed. It's what people do.
Yeah.
And as far as Tobey Maguire goes, just watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's all I gotta say.
That's right. He's in that, isn't it?
I mean, like if people don't smoke or drink, then then how can you make a noir? How can you make a noir type of story and stuff?
Yes, thank you.
Neo-noir.
Using that word.
I mean, Cowboy Bebop has a bit of that sci-fi noir.
Yes.
And what do you see? You see the opening of the show.
Yes.
You see a silhouette of him smoking a cigarette, and it works.
And And the other thing is, like, when I watch a show like this, I don't have to feel like, oh, these characters are going to whine. The female characters are going to whine. The main characters are going to whine.
He's a Mary
they're
Sue.
fun.
Oh, he's
Right,
a Larry.
exactly.
She's a Larry
Exactly.
Joe. It's like,
Yeah.
no, these are real
Yes.
people. I
Yes.
feel like these are real people. I'm just here watching them on CCTV cameras. That's how I
Yes.
feel about this. I'm watching their lives as it happens. Literally, that's what makes a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
even when you watch the new Batman movie, and I'm a huge Batman fan, it's like, why is there any kind of underlying politics in this movie? Like, why at all? Like, Hollywood, can you stop this ever? This is not necessary. It's just stupid. It really
they're
is.
I mean,
so
as long as
ramped
as long as it serves the story, if
Yeah.
it's just put
If
in there,
it's-
just
Yes.
It
it
is.
has. If you're gonna do something like that, it has to serve the full narrative. You can't just
Exactly.
put it in
Exactly.
and expect people to
Yep.
be expect people to eat it up and stuff.
Exactly.
So if you want to talk about racism, I mean, there's a great Star Trek episode that talks about racism. It's called "Let That Be Your Last Battlefield."
Your last battlefield.
And that was-
exactly.
Yeah, and it served the story. So you can talk about politics. And racism,
There was
but
another one that also served to talk about racism. It was called the one with the bird of prey.
Ugh.
Season
Well, I
1,
mean,
episode 14.
Bird of Prey. When
Yeah,
Deep
it had
Space
a bird
Nine?
of prey in it. No, it's
What?
Star Trek TOS. Come on.
The only good thing about
I mean, there was
Birds of
Balance
Prey
of
is
Terror,
Black
but that
Balance
was-
Terror. There you go.
Well, yeah, I
Drew.
mean, you had the you
when
had the-
Styles was talking to Spock on the bridge.
and he's like, and they're like, they're trying to decode something. He's like, ask Spock.
Ask
And-
Spock, he'll know.
Because we've learned that the Romulans look just like the Vulcans.
And
So-
Kirk looked at him and said, "What'd you say?" I said, "Ask Spock, he'll know." And Kirk
He's
says,
like-
"Oh, I assume you're talking about his decoding abilities." And Styles says,
And he's like, I don't
"I'm
know,
not
sir.
sure. I don't think so, sir."
And
or
then
something.
Kirk's like, there is one thing you can be sure of: leave any bigotry in your quarters. There's no room for it on the bridge.
Exactly.
I don't remember if I think Roddenberry might have written that. I don't know if Roddenberry wrote that episode or wrote the story.
I'm
that,
not sure, but you got to remember too. In TOS, they had that shyster lawyer that was rewriting scripts that had no legal reason to do so.
In TNG,
No, TOS.
I thought it
there
was
was a-
TNG that had the lawyer. TNG was the one that had the. I thought TNG had the lawyer. And
He
TOS
actually
was
did.
just-
He did it in TOS and TNG.
All right, I have to read up on. I have to read up on the.
I
was
can't remember his
recommended-
name, but
Yeah, I was recommended
whole-
that.
there's like a whole documentary on it. Like people actually did a documentary. You can find it on YouTube where they're trying to defend that lawyer for doing that shit. I'm like, really? He had no legal recourse to do this. And
Yeah.
he didn't get any story credit, no nothing. He was just doing script rewrites, this, that, and the third, and injecting them at the last minute.
Well, the
Yeah,
other thing is, like a show like Better Call Saul, like it doesn't even get. Sure, it can get nominations for Emmys, but it doesn't win. Like I feel this is one of these shows that could win Best Drama at the Emmys. Will it?
Easily,
No, of
easily,
course not.
easily. They all Odenkirk should win. Jonathan Banks should
Yep.
win. Michael McKean should have won when he was on
Rhea,
the show.
Rhea Seahorn should win.
Ray Seahorn, yes,
Is
all
it
of them.
Ray? Is it
I'll
Ray?
tell
I
you
thought
Ray,
it was
it's Ray.
Is it
It's
Ray?
Ray.
Okay,
I
it's
don't
Ray.
geek out over a lot of actors, but Bob Odenkirk, dude, that's a good damn actor. Right there.
You know, I still have not seen Nobody. I have to see Nobody.
It's good. I liked it. If you like a
'Cause-
good revenge story, it's good.
I just can't imagine because I'm guessing his character in Nobody. Well, I mean,
Oh, he
doesn't he
goes
act?
crazy.
Doesn't he start off in Nobody as like a
Yes.
kind of a squirmy
People-
character,
right,
and then
yeah,
he
people are
builds
picking on
into
him. Oh yes.
then he builds into like Charles Bronson, and he starts going after people. And
Well,
stuff.
you'll think that way. I'll just let you watch the movie. You're like, oh shoot. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
and it's
I
called
do
Nobody?
I do like the old Death Wish movies quite a bit.
Good movie.
Guilty this third one is a guilty pleasure, especially when he has bigger guns and things that kills a bunch
Oh,
kills a
wait.
bunch of people.
Is it a Steven Seagal main movie?
What, Death Wish? No, it's Charles Bronson.
Oh, Charles Bronson.
Bronson
Okay.
is Death Wish.
But he plays in a movie called Nobody. Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I think it's on Hulu or Amazon. I'll have to take the time to watch it. So
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll look it up. I'll watch it.
so just to go back to Gene Takovic really quickly. So what happens in the season 5 in the latest story portion of him is he basically he gets spooked, and he leaves town for a little bit. He gets breakfast somewhere, and like, you know, the waitress keeps asking him questions and stuff. He's very mousy. He's very mousy in this part of his life. Like, he's scared of everything. He doesn't want to talk to people or even look at people at this point, which is, in my opinion, no way to
He
live.
got trapped in a cement alley inside the mall, and he freaked the F out.
Yeah, he did. He wouldn't even press, you know, like, you know, if you...
He wouldn't even go out the emergency exit to set the alarm off.
Exactly. So that's how that's how scared he was and stuff. So he comes back. So he comes back after a few days. He calls Cinnabon. He says, "Has anyone been asking around about me?" And they're like, "No." So he goes back to work, and he's sitting down eating his lunch, his sandwich, and his Coke or whatever soda that he has. And the cab driver from before walks right up to him and recognizes him and makes him admit that he's Saul. And right after that little scene where he does the Better Call Saul stuff, he goes and he calls the vacuum cleaner guy again, and he's like, "Hey, I've been made and stuff."
They made me. You gotta get
yeah.
me. So is he in witness protection or hiding on his own?
He's hiding on this. He's basically hiding on his own. The vacuum cleaner guy in Breaking Bad basically gave him like a new ID, a new place to live. So he basically set everything up for him, and he wants to disappear again with the same guy.
So he's in like the underworld witness protection, not official witness protection.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and he's like Gus. He's very systematic in his approach. Like, he won't do anything that that might shy away from that, because, you know, any mistaken, you get caught and stuff.
Right.
So
He's
same idea.
He always has 10 steps ahead of what might happen.
So I don't know if you guys. So besides Breaking Bad, they made a movie to follow up Breaking Bad called El Camino. So
I watched it.
Oh,
I thought
yes!
it was good. I thought it was good. I had not watched much Breaking Bad, but I did watch
yeah,
the movie.
exactly.
I
I really didn't like Breaking Bad, but I did watch El Camino. Matter of fact, I have to rewatch it again. I actually liked El Camino, and the thing is, I'm like, man, why is El Camino so good, but I can't get into Breaking Bad? And then I binge watched Better Call Saul, which says, hey, maybe Breaking Bad might not be so bad.
How far did you get in Breaking Bad, by the way?
Oh, I got not even 3 or 4 episodes in.
Well,
all right. So a lot of the El Camino is drawn from what happens in the final season. So especially with that character Todd. So each season gets better. I'll say this: Breaking Bad season 1's kind of slow, but each season gets better. Once you see Tuco, once you meet Tuco, then things start to really elevate, and things just keep getting better. And then they meet Gus, and then when they meet Gus, then holy crap! Then Gus, Saul, Mike, and stuff. When they meet them, then it just gets way better. And then season 5 is basically,
so it's like
every season gets better.
So it's
every
like the Expanse. The first season is a slow burn, but it just gets better from there.
Yeah, well, I didn't care for the second half of season 5, and I didn't even, honestly, I didn't even finish the final season yet. I've only watched 3 episodes, and I just stopped. So I have to finish that. So
yeah, it's when it finished, people were like, "This is the greatest show ever." I was like, "Let's just relax." I mean, I'm sure.
I was really happy with how it ended. I know some people might disagree, but it's one of the better shows that I've ever seen. I mean,
I'm interested in it now.
I think it's better than The Sopranos. I think Breaking Bad is the better show. Between people constantly compare Breaking Bad to The Sopranos.
Wow, you're calling it better than The Sopranos. I definitely need to.
I saw The Sopranos, and The Sopranos doesn't really follow up on things. There's not a whole lot of payoff for the stuff that they set up in The Sopranos.
Wow.
Now I think the ending. A lot of people didn't understand the ending, but I think the ending of Sopranos is brilliant, though.
It is. It fades to black just like the series starts.
Yeah,
it goes from a black screen into going right into their everyday life.
But that's how it is. But you know why it cuts off? It dips to black and cuts off, right? It's basically Tony Soprano's point of view of him getting killed.
Yeah, it's basically, yep. point blank to the head. See ya.
So
Have a nice
so
day.
instead of showing something like like The Godfather, where you see the violence at the table, you don't see it.
Or Scarface.
Or
Okay,
Scarface.
so guys, this has 36 wins, and I'm sure they're not the main wins, but this show's been nominated 210. It has 210 nominations for Better Call Saul, but yet it's never won Best Drama.
What? How is that not best drama? Come on,
if
this-
it's not,
They gave
Let's
they
Law
gave
and
one
Order
they gave
today.
they gave
Only writing
season 8. They
or
gave
season
Game of
nominated.
Thrones season 8 best drama
Yes.
one year, I think, didn't
Yes,
they?
They did. Yes.
So, and so this tells you how stupid it is. And nobody takes award shows seriously anymore because of that.
No, that's why I never even gave a shit about the Emmys or whatever all this Will Smith was about. I didn't even care about it for like over 20 years, and all of a sudden, Will Smith was bitch slapping Chris Rock. I'm like, oh, cool, a new comedy bit. And they're like, we got a real career. I'm like, why are you ruining careers? It's a comedy bit.
The show won Saturn Awards, but it didn't win for ever Best Drama at the Emmys. That's something, man. They get all these nominees for the Emmys, but they didn't win any. Even it's terrible.
I think this is a very I go with my first assessment. It's very, very underrated.
Yes, it is.
I totally agree with that. I mean, even like if you look at the numbers of people watching and stuff when it aired, only like 1 to 2 million viewers. So
Yep.
I was always concerned that Better Call Saul was going to be canceled and stuff, but I think reason why the AMC never canceled Better Call Saul is because, in my opinion, I think Breaking Bad really made AMC like between Breaking Bad and Mad Men and of course Walking Dead.
Yes.
Those shows really made AMC a contender for television
AMC,
content.
think about what their channel stands for. American Movie Classics.
Movie classics,
They were the black and white movie
Yeah.
kings next to Turner Classic Movies. Okay,
Yeah.
and then we came into the internet age. Well, guess what happens with the internet? You better evolve or go away.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So I think the reason why they have kept Better Call Saul on is because, I mean, big reason why they're the AMC is where it's at is because of Breaking Bad and stuff, and probably because they have a really good relationship with Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould and all those guys. So, and one thing I love about Better Call Saul is the consistency with Breaking Bad. Like they've tried really hard to maintain continuity with Breaking Bad and keeping all the same actors. Like they've brought back almost every actor that's been on Breaking Bad, and the fact that I'll be honest, I did not think they were ever going to bring Cranston and Aaron Paul back to reprise their characters in Better Call Saul. I did not think that would ever happen.
I find it interesting that you said Tuco is in Breaking Bad because
he's in it at the end of season 1. And
we know he's in prison in Better Call Saul, so obviously he gets out of prison.
That's right.
So I'm interested in seeing how that plays out.
Yeah, they had to get him out because he was in Breaking Bad. They can't kill him, and they didn't want to include him in the plot and stuff because he's a freaking maniac. So they put him in prison and stuff. So and hence they put him in prison. Then we meet Hector before he gets the stroke and stuff. Yep. So like I said, like this is just I thought it was a great show, and the way before I go any further, the way Gene's story at the end of season 5 ends is he calls the vacuum cleaner guy, but then he changes his mind. He's like, you know what, I'm going to deal with this myself, and that's where we leave him off. So I'm wondering what he's going to do after that. I'm wondering if ultimately he's going to get caught, or if he's going to blackmail the guy, the cab driver that made him admit that he's Saul.
Or is he gonna pull a Better Call Saul on his ass and be like, "Ah, gotcha"?
Yeah, that could be too.
Right.
So
that'd be pretty interesting.
So it makes me wonder, like, is he gonna? Yeah, I mean, is he gonna make it ultimately? Is he gonna stay hidden, or is he gonna own up to his mistakes and go and turn himself in? So it's
I don't see him owning up and turning himself in. I just don't see him doing it. Not when Better Call Saul is actually just starting getting going, which is what the whole show is labeled Better Call Saul. So I'm betting season 6 is going to be more about how Better Call Saul gets going because in all through the what we've seen so far is these ads for Better Call Saul, right? So
Yeah.
I'm hoping season 6 is all about that, and I hope that leads into Breaking Bad.
Oh, it's definitely going to lead into Breaking Bad.
They're not going to phone this in, obviously, either. Just like what a lot of people feel, a lot of the hardcore fans felt about like Game of Thrones, and even if you watch the last episode of How I Met Your Mother, you're just how is this the ending? Like, come on.
I'm not saying E.T. Better Call Home. I'm just saying the way they're building up to this and the name of the show. I'm hoping it leads into Breaking Bad, and when I start watching Breaking Bad,
it does.
And
I'm
when
sure
Saul is there, that's like, okay, now I know why Saul's there.
Yeah, and I think it's going to tell more story within Breaking Bad. So, like I said, that's that opening in season 4 where they're in the office and he's cleaning it out. I think there's going to be another opening. There's going to be another beginning of an episode where it's going to be during the Breaking Bad time. So I'm assuming Jesse, and that's where we're going to see Jesse and Walter. In that in the show is during a little bit of a flash forward sequence in this case.
Right on.
But yeah, I think I forgot what were we. I have a brain fart. What were we saying before that?
I think you were talking about going back to the flashbacks to the Cinnabon and the cab driver and
yeah.
all that
So so he's gonna go deal with that, and we're gonna find out his ultimate fate in that time period as well. So that's why I'm wondering if he ultimately decides to. Does he decide to keep living with his head with looking over his shoulders all the time, or is he gonna end it and turn himself in, and basically own up to the fact that own up to all the pretense that we're seeing throughout the show and stuff. So because because I mean part of the whole Saul thing is that he's kind of denying. He's basically denying himself. He's denying he's denying any involvement with his brother. I think it's really denying any involvement with his brother.
How meta is that, though? He's denying his alter ego that he created because he couldn't deal with the fact that his own brother couldn't accept him for who he is.
Yeah, and the name
how
just
meta is that?
Exactly, and the name just the name reminds him of that, and hence why, like whenever they bring up his brother in like seasons 4 and 5 and stuff, and even Howard, like the way he responds to Howard, Howard basically reminds him of his brother because HHM.
Yeah, I mean, what was it he called it that one time? A pig effer?
Yeah, he called him a pig effer. Yep, that's right. Yeah, because they wanted to take it. They wanted to take the Sandpiper Crossing work, but not hire him. Just pay him.
He's like, I brought this to you, and you don't want to hire me. You
should be making. He's like, you should be making me a freaking partner for
this. Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just. I think that I don't know, and I'm curious what happens to Howard too. The Howard thing, I'm curious what's going to happen.
Me too.
I'm with you. I'd love to see a resolution to Howard.
It'd be interesting to see if Jimmy's finally like,
because I think in the trailer there's a voiceover of Kim saying to Howard, I hear you're building a case against Jimmy and stuff. So I'm kind of curious. So it seems like not only are they going after him, but I think he's actually going to try and go after Jimmy as well. So this is going to be a very interesting season. So
yes, I agree.
And I'm really curious what ultimately is going to happen to Kim too. That's Kim and Nacho and Howard.
Yes.
When did you say the first 2 episodes are dropping?
Next Monday.
It's Monday.
The Monday coming up, or
Yep, April 18th, a week from now.
A week from now, okay.
Yeah. So April, they're going to drop the first 2. So it's going to be from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central is when they're going to be dropping. So
and that's on Netflix, right?
No, AMC Plus. If you have cable, watch it on AMC.
Is it only going to be
Plus.
AMC Plus? It's AMC, and AMC Plus is dropping the same day, right?
Yeah, I've been watching it on a streaming service, so I can't remember if it's Netflix or Prime.
Well, Netflix has all the old episodes, but AMC Plus is going to show the new episodes.
Oh, crap. Okay, I'll have to look them up. I will do it the pirate booty way.
Okay.
Sure.
Yar.
Something about, don't talk about that too much.
No.
This
I
is
know
still
it's not
a live
a thing.
stream.
I know
You
it's
know
nothing.
nothing. You
I
don't
know it's
know.
nothing. Yeah, vote there, Commandant. I know it's
You
nothing.
heard nothing. That's right.
It's nothing.
Exactly. So. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about. So you guys have anything you want to say before we close?
I'll let Cash Money go ahead. You got a channel, Cash Money? You want to plug everything you're doing, bud?
I'm just working on some videos right now, some gaming videos. And probably going to have another live stream soon here to have a topic. I don't know which one yet, but definitely
What kind of
gonna
gaming
have,
videos?
going to be doing one hopefully soon of Earthbound Beginnings and why it's so confusing.
Ooh, nice. I need a
why
link to
why
your
you
channel.
need a guide, and then I'm going to be doing one about how RPGs or JRPGs are still relevant. So
Ooh,
I'm
they
gonna
are
talk
Oh, that's
about
cool. I'll
Bravely
watch those.
Default too. Yep.
I do need a link to your channel, though, Cash Money.
It's
It should
it's
be
in the description.
description.
It's in the description of
It's in
my
the description.
video.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
Of this
I'll have
video.
to check out your channel too, Sci-Fi, and
Oh, please do. I hope everybody does.
We,
Going into that, go ahead.
we're
No, go ahead.
building-
Finish.
the way I look at it is we're building a community, and if we can drive YouTube crazy, that's more at it. You know, it's better. If we can drive YouTube crazy,
I
that's
look at it
always
this
a
way.
plus.
I look at it this way. If you can
Those
bring
things
people
we talk
like
about.
me and Nerdporial together in the same live stream and have decent conversations, that should be enough for YouTube right there to break their algorithm. But you know.
There you go. All right. So anything else? Anything else you want to cover or promote or something or?
Cash Money, you got anything else?
No, I'm just like soon I'm gonna have an intro on my channel, and we're gonna have some editing, and I'm gonna add some clips.
Very
have a
awesome.
Might have
There's a
certain show- yeah.
You
might
said
have a certain-
editing. There's a
Yes.
very awesome editing program. It's called openshot.org.
Okay.
It's free to use. It's an editing program. It's the one I use on my channel. It's the one I've used since day one. It's open source. It's free to use. It does update regularly. It's not as like finesse as like say some of these
Premiere Pro.
high-paid
Well, that's
ones
the one
that
the
you
one
get.
I have. So
openshot.org.
I'll look into that too. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like as finesse as like DaVinci, but it doesn't eat up your system resources either. So,
Well,
but it does let you do a lot of things.
I'm still new to this because I came from Twitch Sci-Fi a few years ago, and I was building my channel on there, and I'm just learning now more about building thumbnails. And,
See, I'm
doing
like the opposite. I
editing.
started here and I'm trying to figure out the Twitch thing. I'm like, they don't
well,
give
if
you a lot of options over there.
You're in the Discord, right? If you need help.
Yes, I'm on the Reportals Discord.
Right.
Yes, I am.
All right, I can help you, dude. It's not a problem.
Okay, so for me, so Thursday I'm going to have, and I said this earlier, I'm going to have a celebratory stream, basically celebrating monetization and stuff. I mean, I wasn't sure if I was gonna be accepted into the program because YouTube
Come
seems
on,
to
you're
be
a
kind
choir
of fickle.
boy compared to me.
Well, they have rules where they don't want you.
Yeah. Yes.
They can make up anything and say you're breaking the rules and not give you any explanation. I mean, look at what happened to Brightest Day. So
look at what happened to two Star Wars nerds, Mr. Two Star Wars Nerds. You know who that is, right, Nerdporial?
that happened to them.
Yes.
Why?
We'll go over it. They didn't. No, there's nothing wrong. No, dude, I don't know. And yet, X-Wing got. You know who obviously X-Wing is. X-Wing got monetized, but yeah, he hasn't gotten monetized. I think it's ridiculous.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, my philosophy is not to copy other YouTubers and stuff. I try to do my own thing.
That's
my own
number
way and
one.
stuff.
That's
number
a good
one.
thing.
Be
Yeah, that's a
yourself.
good thing. Yeah.
I mean, only in chats do I copy like Red Letter Media when I'm like, oh my god, it's Cash. Remember Cash, everybody? Stuff like that. I do that. That's the only time I ever copy
That's
someone.
minor. That don't even mean nothing.
No.
So, but yes, so I'm doing a stream on doing a celebratory stream. It's going to be an open stream on Thursday. So it'll be my first stream where I'm probably going to be able to get super chats and stuff. Where YouTube takes 30%. They take
That's
30% of they take a 30% cut.
In other words,
And on
follow-
Odyssey, they take no cut.
And
So-
I was
Yeah.
going to say, and
Something to think
also
about
on
in
the
the future.
PayPal link, they don't take a cut either. So just saying, people, just saying.
Yeah, that's true. So, but yeah, I'm doing that, and then Lord of the Rings, Two Towers is going to be on. I'm going to have a stream for Two Towers Part 2 on Saturday, covering Disc 2 of the extended version. So that's going to be
Dude.
coming up.
If you're doing a stream on Return of the King, that's like one of my favorite movies, man.
I will, and I probably will in probably a few weeks and stuff. So yeah, I'll let you know.
All right, awesome.
I'd love to be there this Thursday for the celebration stream, even if it's just for a few minutes. Just to give you props, because you know what? You earned it, then.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And that's pretty much it. I mean, right now I saw Sonic 2 in the theater on Friday, so I recorded a little review and stuff. I'm gonna make a video on that really quickly. And my next real project is a review of the movie Dirty Harry.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, the original Dirty
Nice.
Harry. I
Yep.
likes it.
You know, the one where he asks people if they feel lucky.
You feel lucky?
Well, do you, Cash?
Oh, yeah. I do, actually. I feel pretty lucky. I feel humbled, too.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So that's a great movie. I already watched it. I took a whole bunch of notes. I have to just write it, and I have to type it and
Writing scripts.
record
Oh
it.
my gosh, I haven't wrote a script in almost
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah, so yeah,
I feel
try
so
to
weird
be.
doing it. I feel weird writing scripts. I feel like my reading voice is like I'm reading a script, unless compared to when I just do things off the top of my head, it sounds way more natural, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I tend to stutter when I try to do things off the top of my head. I tend to stutter. I
stutter, mix
I
up
lose words. I say or so, or a lot of conjunctions.
Yes,
But,
yes,
yeah, and-
you get it.
So that's why I have to. So for videos like that, I tend to write a script and stuff. So it's a clear, it's a clear, consistent narration and stuff. And of course, then the editing part comes in where I have to be careful and clever and creative in how I edit and stuff.
Right,
Because,
so you cut out all of the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So
It's amazing. I mean, people even who are like on TV, on the news, they still say and this and that. It's like, I want to try to avoid that myself.
yeah,
It's easy
so
to do, but
it's easy to make, and it's like being a voice actor. I can only imagine. Like I've made every video I've made like a mistake pronouncing something. Like I'll say one thing when I meant another thing and stuff. So, and the thing is, I don't want to go back and change it and stuff because it's I'd have to redo almost the entire.
Dude, I've got
portion of
like
it.
2 years worth of blooper reels. I really need to release a blooper reel of me doing videos.
Yeah.
And I don't even get views on my edited videos. I do them for fun. Actually, my whole channel is a hobby. So thank you to everybody that's ever subbed to me and is still subbed to me and comes into my live stream chats. With that, can I say something going on my channel real quick, nerd, for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, I'm starting a brand new morning show that's going to run Sundays through Thursdays. It's called The Morning Wake and Bake with Sci-Fi Nation. It's going to be an open panel forum type of show, just a morning wake up, coffee, whatever else, get you going. Wake and bake. There is an oven on, icon on the thing, so don't get your panties in a twist, YouTube. You can bake with an oven. Okay, it doesn't mean what you think it means, even though that's what it means. Okay, so I'm just saying it's morning wake and bake. Come hang out. There is no actual topics per se. I'm not setting topics. It's just people getting together in the morning and saying, "Hello, how you doing?" Okay, it's going to be Eastern time for me. That doesn't mean the West Coast can't get in on it. That doesn't mean the UK can't get in on it. That doesn't mean New Zealand can't get in on it. It's whatever time of day it is for you, but it's morning for me. That's why it's the morning wake and bake. So I encourage everybody to check that out. The flagship program, the very first program, is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. and
Oh,
I
wow,
really
that's
hope to
really-
see a lot of people there.
That's cool, man.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So, other than that, everybody, it's been a great stream. I love talking about Better Call Saul and some of my favorite stuff. This was definitely one of the things I've been meaning to talk about for a long time. But now with the final season coming out, I have a chance to review it as the new episodes come out. So, because nobody, I swear, nobody reviewed season 5 at all a couple of years ago. So, I want to kind of hopefully I'll bring some fans in of Better Call Saul. Hopefully they'll watch some of my content and
I hope
bring a whole new crowd come in. So hopefully,
I couldn't believe it when I saw you doing the stream, and I'm like, holy crap! I just literally binge watched that, and then I messaged you. It's like, wow,
yeah.
dude,
So
I
yeah,
just watched that.
I wasn't sure who watched the show, so that's why I sent out the link saying, hey, if you want to come on and be on the panel and talk about it, you're more than welcome to. So
I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thank you so much.
So everybody, once again, everybody take care, stay nerdporeal, and come on out Thursday for my open stream as we celebrate my monetization and stuff. So everybody, other than that, take care.